And here we are. Hey, folks, from Studio B. I am Dave, and tonight I'm joined by the one and the only ID Jester.
Hey, Dave, how you doing? Good to
And you
see
got your
everyone.
Kings jersey on. I like that Kings jersey there. We were just talking about that.
I do like it a lot. It's super cool. It was actually after they won the Stanley Cup. We were out there the next summer and before the next season, and so we went down to Staples Center, and that was let me think. I remember one of the basketball players just died, so they were having a whole, it was like a whole thing going on down there, and so kind of yeah. So, anyways, I got a Kings jersey. I like to get them from the stadium. So yeah, I thought, well, if we're going to be talking hockey, I got to represent.
I still have my Red Wings jersey that I bought at the original Boston Garden. I think we went into a game, or they had the pro shop right there when you get off the train at the Boston Garden. And I went in and had the Red Wings, and it looked really good. I think I had just seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And the kid had the Red Wings jersey,
Right, yeah,
and I was like, I got to get one of those. And so I went in, and they actually put like a number on it right on the spot for me too. It was just like a heat press thing. It wasn't like a twill, but it was kind of cool. I was like, okay, this is neat. This is neat. So I got the jersey right at the Garden. Yeah. And I remember going in there, like pointing at all the jerseys. And I was with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time. And she's like, don't buy jerseys. I got you something for Christmas. And I was like, did you get me that one? She's like, okay, no, I didn't. All right, I'm going to get that one. Did you get me that one? And it was really kind of fun. But folks, tonight we're going to be talking a little APBA Hockey, amongst other things. We're going to be talking about the APBA Hockey is actually the board game that we both been playing. That we're going to talk about why we're playing it, and maybe a little bit what we like, what we don't like, and just talk this hockey in general in the whole bit. And welcome to the chat. Steeler fan is in the chat room here. Good to see you, buddy, here. And so my story goes, ID is that I'm a big hockey guy, and I'm somewhat new to all the board game stuff. And I watch your channel a lot, as well as Uncle Ron and a few other people there. And I like to watch all the hockey videos and see what I like and what I wouldn't like. And APBA is the one game that there wasn't many videos on. There was a lot of Strat, a lot of Hockey Blast, even shootout hockey, but the APBA was the one that it didn't have a lot of love. And just kind of how it was, like, the videos I did watch didn't do it for me. You know what I mean? It just wasn't doing it. So I think it was last summer, one of the listeners of the show sent me a couple of teams, like 4 teams, and I think it was the old style, the older ones with the smaller chat book and the whole bit. And I tried to play it, and I got the face off, and I got the puck movement, and I got a shot block, and then I was just, wow, I'm having like a real hard time. And I think I'd rather play something else than this. And so I put it away. I was like, I'm not done with it, and then I watched you, and you were playing with a big book, and you had the little face-off cards. I'm like, I don't have a little face-off card, and then you were like, oh, I get this little thing here, and I don't have one of those either. So I got kicking around, and I was talking to Ron, and so I started watching you. So you started playing it again, and I went back and I watched all these other videos, and then Tebow get on YouTube, and he's a big listener of the show, and he's doing APBA videos showing how to play it, and I'm like, oh, it's starting to make sense. Mm-hmm. It really is. And so I told Ron, it's Ron, for Christmas, I think I'm gonna get that, for Christmas. I'm gonna get APBA Hockey for Christmas. And then something happened. I finished a couple of projects here, and I had a little downtime, and I said, no, damn it, I'm gonna get it now. I'm itching to play it now. I want to give this another try. And so, like we talked about, I took the plunge, and I bought the game, and I bought a season, and it's way different than I thought. Once you get into the flow, and it didn't take long to get into the flow. Once I get into the flow, I was really, really liking this game.
Yeah, it's a different beast. It is. A lot of hockey games out there are just roll the dice and get to the next play and move on. And you don't really feel like you're part of the game. You're just kind of rolling the dice. And APBA is a little bit more than that. There's actually a lot of strategy, a lot of variations to the different plays they use. There are a lot of optional rules. So it's a little bit meatier and chunkier, which I know it all comes down to kind of mindset you have to have that mindset, knowing what you're getting into when you're getting into it.
I think that's where I was when I first played it. I was like, wow, this is going to take forever. And I wasn't ready for a marathon hockey game. And because I like my shootout hockey, it plays really quick, 10, 15 minutes, bam, bam, bam. Hockey Blast, I kind of like too. I really have to manipulate Hockey Blast to make that work for me because it's a weird game.
Yeah, you have this love-hate relationship. I think I posted a couple comments on when you did your Hockey Blast, and you would get excited about it, and then something would go, and then you would not be excited about it anymore.
You ever watch The Price is Right, and they have that Planko game where you put the disc in and it hits all the nails, and that's what Hockey Blast is that sometimes it'll bounce and it'll fall in a column, and you got a fun game, and other times it bounces way over here, and you're just sitting there, oh my gosh, and it's just, this ain't fun. So, but there's fun to be had, but I've had to really kind of whittle the rules down to what I like to play, but I have enjoyed Hockey Blast. But that's like a 20-minute, half-hour game. You can bang that out. And then you got the Strat Hockey, which is a longer game than all of those, but everything's right off the card, and I really enjoy that. And but yeah, I know that's a 45-minute game, something like that, depending what happens in the game. But with the APBA, once I started playing, I said, this is going to be longer than Strat. This is, when I first saw, the corner battles, the in the crease battles, I haven't even touched matchup yet, but it just seemed like all these other games, they stop and you have a little highlight of what happens during that minute, whether it's a shot, a penalty, whatever, injury. APBA, it's that, and then a little, like I say, there's a little bit more meat on that bone in this game. There's a lot more happening. And so you talked about mindset. So when I finally had the mindset, okay, I got it set up, I'm going to be here a few hours learning this. This is not going to be a bam, bam game. And once you put your mind to that, you can enjoy how that game plays.
Yeah, I think it goes to, like I said, mindset and what you're doing at the time. If you're playing a lot of quick play games and then all of a sudden you jump into APBA, that can be kind of a turnoff because you're used to playing quick play games. You're used to playing something that flows really quickly. Then all of a sudden you got this where it's going to take you a few minutes to resolve something and try to figure out, well, okay, now how do I got to do this? And that's going to slow the game down. So you got this quick play game and you're going, oh, I could play 4 or 5 of these games, and what it's taking me to play this, I don't want to play this anymore type thing. I think it depends on what your mindset going in and what you're used to doing when you're going to play it. So I was playing, just for my example, I was playing some Stratomatic baseball. And so I was used to that for Stratomatic baseball. And then I started doing the APBA hockey, which was a lot more involved. We're talking 2 different sports, but I was used to playing the Stratomatic. So then the APBA was kind of a turnoff for me. And I went back and I started playing the Stratomatic hockey. And after I got used to the Stratomatic again, and then I said, oh, okay, now I'm used to this. Mm-hmm. I want something a little meatier. I want something a little chunkier to what I'm doing.
Yeah. It does some things really nice, and there's other things I'm not real thrilled about. So let's talk about some of those things there. Obviously, the first thing is it's a long game. It's, I've only played 2 games, for 2 full games. And in my first game, I'm learning everything. I'm pulling out the charts and the whole bit. But the third period, I said, let's see how fast I can play this. And still learning, the very first game, still learning. It was a half hour, I played third period.
That's pretty good.
Now, that had 5 minor penalties that I had to stop for and 5 goals. So it was a busy period too. It really was. But it feels like you're watching a hockey game. Now, that's the other thing. There's no decisions to really make in the game. I mean, pulling the goalie maybe, but and maybe, who serves the penalty or who kills the penalty. But, it's not like Strat where you say, okay, I'm going to penetrate or pass, things like that. So there's really no decisions in the game. But I'm okay with that because I'm a broadcaster, by nature. So for me to sit back and watch the game unfold in front of me, that's what I'm used to. I'm not used to being like behind the bench saying, okay, you pass and you go. So for me, I like a game like that where I can sit back and watch it happen and broadcast it in my head and envision the puck dumped into the corner, envision the Theo Fleury going in and stealing the puck and making a pass out front. I can see all that. And that's what this game does, is you can see all of that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think unlike regular sports like baseball and football that have like set plays that happen, hockey doesn't have these set plays where it's like, oh, I'm going to take and pass from the center to the left wing, and then the right wing is going to cut in and he's going to tip it in. There's those set plays because the puck is bouncing everywhere. It's going everywhere. There's sticks. There's people cutting in front of it. It's a fast game. People are skating around. And so I think, like you said, it's when you're trying to play the game, you envision what's happening, but you don't need to have it written down step by step for you, because you can take the play result and envision what had happened in the play result without it trying to explain to you what happened.
Like I say, a lot of these games, you really don't want to do a pass by pass or skate by skate game. You'd be there all day doing that. So if you can do like Strat's 40 seconds, APBA's 30 seconds, you know what I mean? You do things like that. Now you get a little chunk of the game at a time, and sometimes things don't happen. Sometimes it's just a lose the puck or turn over the puck. And that's, so again, it was Uncle Ron that explained to me, like when I was playing Bobby Orr, I was like, Bobby Orr's lost the puck 3 times in a row. What's going on? He's like, think of it this way, Dave. He goes, he didn't lose the puck. He had the puck, and somehow during that 40 seconds, whatever happened, it ended up on this guy's stick.
Mm-hmm.
And when he explained it to me that way, I was like, that's a really good way to put it. So it's not like Orr had it and just coughed it up. Right. Or maybe he made a pass, the guy took a shot that was wide, it hit his skate, the referee got in the way. Whatever happened, at the end of 40 seconds, it went from his stick to this guy's stick. And once I had that frame of mind, it all made sense. And that helps for every game.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of break it down to, in this 30-second period of time that I'm playing, some event happened during that 30 seconds, and this is what I'm representing by rolling the dice. It might have happened in the first 5 seconds, it might have happened in the last 5 seconds, but some important play happened.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see. Keith had a question here. Is this a tough game for someone like me who doesn't know who is on what line and how power play and PK lines are put together? What do you think? The game gives you rosters.
Yes.
So there's a starting point.
There are some very important numbers that you need to know about when you're putting your defensive pairs together, where you're trying to get to a certain number for clearing the puck and for blocking shots. So if you got a 1 and a 1 together, that defensive pair is going to be really bad in blocking shots. If you got a 3 and a 3 together, then those are going to be really good. So would it be better to have a 3 and a 1 and a 3 and a 1? Or would it be better to have one really good and one really bad? And that's kind of the decisions. You were talking about there's not a lot of decisions to make, and there's not, because the dice rolls will tell you what happens. But there is a lot of decisions on like pre-set up in how you're organizing your lines and setting those up.
Yeah, and again, so do you look at the defense and say, okay, I'm going to put out 2 strong defense on one line and play shutdown, or do you want to balance it out? And that was, like I said, one of the games I played, we had some defense that couldn't make a play, and that, then the other line was shut down. But that when that other line was out there, so yeah, there are some coaching decisions to make, and it does come with a roster sheet, and you can just go by that if you want, or it's basically
right. I mean, they have like their default lineups, and so they give you like recommendations, and most of those will work just fine.
Mm-hmm. Now let me see. So like I said, I took the plunge of this game, buying a season and buying the new game, and it was kind of expensive. Not ridiculous, not hundreds of dollars, obviously, but it wasn't a $5 or $10 to $20 game. Do you think when you take a chance on a game like I did, because I had played the older version, I had seen other people play it, I was intrigued, but I wasn't sold. So when I bought this, I spent the money on, I gave it more time. I was more patient with it, and I almost was. Some other games you get a $5 or $10 game. Sometimes you play it for 10 minutes. You're like, yeah, whatever. Do you think that when you spend the money on a game that you do say, okay, I really need to like this, or I really got to give this a try?
Yes, absolutely. I believe wholeheartedly that was probably your number one driving force was, okay, I spent quite a chunk of change on this. I got to give it at least a fair shake. And once you decided to do that and give it a fair shake, then you make your decision whether you like it or not. And of course, hopefully you would like it, obviously, or else that was a big waste of money. So yeah, I think going in knowing, okay, this game is only $10, I can get a season file, or I'm going to spend $80, $90, or $100 or whatever. It's a big commitment for you. So you have to know, okay, I might not know everything I need to know. There's a couple board games that I bought like that are like, oh, I heard a lot of good things about them, but I don't know if I'll like them or not. But since I spent the money on them, I'm going to try.
Yeah. You gotta say, okay, I gotta really give this a whirl here. I was actually surprised at how quickly I picked it up. And I know that, like I say, I watched a lot of videos and yours and Dave S and Tebow and a few other guys there. But I was surprised how I picked it up, reading from the charts and like I said, and you sent me those charts. That was a huge help because I have them all laid out in front of me. And it's kind of weird spending that much time setting up all these charts. But once it's done, you don't even need the book anymore. You're just like, okay, what is it here? Okay, here it is. What is it? Okay, here. And then you follow along. And then, and I got to say, I didn't get stuck once in my second game, which is a big deal. When you get stuck in a game and even you go to the rule book and you just can't find it, there's like a little timer. It's like a fuse. And that fuse starts going like this. You know what I mean? Right. And if you can't get past that point and that fuse goes off, it sours you so fast, Yeah. And the first game I was very patient. The second game, like I said, I zipped through it, and the only time I had to stop was when I had a fight, because I guess on fights you check for additional penalties and misconducts and all that. So I don't know the fight procedure yet, but all the other stuff I was getting pretty good at. And if I didn't know it, I went to the book real quick. Oh yeah, that's what that is. But I never got stuck. Talk about that. That's key, right? Not getting stuck in a game.
Absolutely. Not feeling like you're lost, right? You're going down this path. You have no idea what you're doing. You're making it up. You're not playing the game as it's supposed to be played. You're not going to have as much fun. So when you know and you see the result and you go, oh, that's why this happened. It clicks in your head. Then all of a sudden you get the light bulb turning, and then other things start making sense in the game. If you have that one hiccup or a couple hiccups, then the other parts don't make sense and you get lost and you're not sure what you're doing. So yeah, making sure everything's clicking so that you can get the grasp of what the game's trying to do is very important.
Yeah, getting stuck and getting lost and feeling like I don't know what to do here. It's a very frustrating feeling, Yeah. And when you finally, I don't want to say when you finally beat the game, but when you finally understand the game, there's some kind of a accomplishment, like you've conquered this thing, like, hey, I get it, and I can play this now. And I mean, that goes for any game, not just the hockey games, but when you finally get a game, you're like, oh man, I can play a game now and I get a pretty good idea. It's a good feeling, it really is.
It's a beautiful, beautiful feeling that you spent all that money and you heard good things about it. You kind of feel like you're left out. It's like this mystery out there. What am I, what can I do? And you've now solved the mystery. So you have this great accomplishment, this feat of, okay, I now consider myself an APBA hockey player. And that's a great feeling. It's just great.
Now you started playing it again recently, right?
Yes. So I played it a while ago. And kind of like you, it's funny when I listened to your podcast and you were talking about, how you got donated the old set and you gave it a whirl and you gave it a try. I played it before and I played a few games of it, but I was just not in the right mindset. I was just not feeling it, knowing what I was getting into. Oh, do I really want to play this for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it's going to take? Go through all that trouble, I could play this other game, which would be faster or simpler or easier. And do I want to? For me, I just bought I just ended up buying the base game and got a couple of 4 teams, the final 4 teams. And so I'm like, I don't know. It's just so much work and effort to do that. Is it going to be worth my time? And so, yeah, like you said, the fuse for me was getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. But I then looked around at other hockey games and I tried other hockey games, but then just didn't meet my expectations. So I always had in the back of my mind, try APBA. So eventually it kept wearing down on me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give it another try. And like you, all of a sudden things started clicking. Oh, okay. And it started to pick up pace and it wasn't going to be as much work as I thought it was going to be. And all of a sudden, for some reason, I was having a lot more fun this time. And that is the key.
That is the key.
You have to have fun. If you're going to be spending an hour or 2 hours playing something, if you're not having fun, I had a blast the other night playing that
last night. I had to work early this morning, and I was up almost till 12:30 watching that last minute and a half of your APBA hockey game, and I couldn't turn it off because it was just like there's no whistle. They keep peppering the goalie.
And you know what? After I finished the live stream, I went to your channel and I kept refreshing because I'm like, I know Dave is going to start up. I know it. He's ready to play. I know. So I kept refreshing.
I was
like an hour thinking maybe you'll get it. Cause I think I had messaged in the chat. I said, Dave, run a game for me and I'll get on your channel. And it must have been, it was after the game stopped. So you must have, left or whatever.
Yeah. If it was last night, I think it was 12:30 last night. I was like, man, I got to be 4 or 5 hours. It's like I need to get, but I
heard now. I mean, I heard through your video that you did that you were at the rink and you were ready to play and you were excited to get home and try it. So I was. That's the thing. If you're excited about it, it doesn't matter if it takes an hour to play or 4 hours to play. It really doesn't, as long as you're having fun.
Yep. I was there today and like, man, I just want to get home and set up and do a game and, and actually today I was like figuring out what seasons I want to get and the whole bit. So,
that's what I had a couple of screens open before we got on and I was kind of going through the different seasons, trying to figure out and trying to narrow down which seasons I'm thinking about picking up.
Keith says he said I did have trouble scoring. It was a little confusing because in my very first game, I would roll and it would be a shot on net, a good shot, and then I would roll for the goalie. And again, being my first game and being excited that Ray Bork got a shot on net, I looked at the dice and the dice said like 44, and I immediately went to the chart.
Right. Yes.
44 is a goal. And I was like, oh, no.
44 is a 6, and that's a goal. Or whatever. That's
the one thing.
Remember, and that's
you got to remember to check the card.
Part.
So there was 2 or 3 times that I thought I scored. Oh, no, I got to go to the card first. Because it's a whole different system from instead of reading dice and going to a chart, you go to the card. And then there. But you know what I noticed today? Tebow put up another video here. Jules Tebow put up another video. He's been doing some great APBA videos, by the way. And he pointed out some things on the card that, again, I didn't pick up because I'm still new. That a 35 is going to be a penalty. A 1 or a 2 is going to be a shot on net. So I'm starting to, when I roll that dice and check the cards, like, oh, I don't even need to go to the chart now. I'm starting to learn what is what, and that's speeding up the game and it's making it flow and the whole bit.
Yeah, there is APBA is known not just for their hockey game, obviously for their baseball and other games. Once you start learning things, like literally, if you roll 1, it's a shot on goal. And even if you're adjusting for ODAI, your favorite term, right? The most it's going to go to is a 3, which is still a shot on goal.
But you need to check the assist on that,
I'm
So
sorry.
if you on the 3, I believe that's the shot on goal A, whereas you need to check for an assist. So you got to look at the players on the ice, check the dice roll, and see if
Right,
anybody
to see if somebody, right,
you
yes.
can beat
But
the dice roll with
you
an
see what I'm
assist.
saying though is
But I
a
mean,
lot
yeah.
of times you know the number and you know you don't even need to look anything else up
Yeah.
because it's still going to be
Yeah.
that number.
And the other thing that the ODAI was really confusing for me, but then once it was explained, it's like, okay, if you roll if it's a 5 or a 6, and then there's an ODA that changes it, it can't go any higher than 7. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you roll a 7, it's a 7. A 7 is a 7 all day long. It's not going to change. It can't go above that 7. So there's a few things that once I got a hold of it, I was like, wow, that was my big hurdle, was the ODAI. Once I got that, which is really wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be, it did kind of make sense. And I enjoyed that.
I think now that I'm thinking about it, not that it makes a big difference, but I think the 3 is the tip one.
Oh, it might be, yeah, on the forecheck too.
On the forecheck, yeah, that's the tip one. So even if you move down from a 1 to a 3, it's still a shot on goal, and you just ignore the tip.
Oh, yes, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
So that's a tip, but
you
no
know,
ODI.
if somebody gets a 1, it doesn't matter what the ODAI is. They're still going to get a shot on goal, which speeds up the game because now it's like, oh, I don't even need to look that up.
You're not checking for nothing. Yeah. Let's see. Matt had a question here. What products you guys have planned with this game? Just games? Or are you looking for a short season replay? Matt, the thing is, it's a long game to play. So, even with Strat hockey, it's one of these things that, I'll do a playoff series or a one-off, or I'll find a game that I, really want to play. But as far as a long-term project, when you got a game that's going to take an hour, over an hour to play, you have to factor that into any kind of long-term project. And so for me, it would mostly be like a playoff finals, or some kind of a tribute game, or maybe a game that I went to as a kid that I would play again, or something like that. Or, what I like to do a lot of too is I like to take like a real good team and play a real crappy team. So I'll take like an expansion team and play the Canadians or the Bruins and see how big the score I can run up. You know what I mean? It's just, okay. In real life, it was 12-0 Philadelphia over Kansas City. How close can I come? So I'll do something like that. But as far as a longer play game, no, that's why the shootout comes in handy. Shootout and quicker games like that, because you can play more games and you're apt to do a longer project.
Yeah, I think, I heard what you had said on the podcast about, I'm not sure what I would do with it, blah, blah, blah. So I was actually thinking, because I'm thinking about getting a couple of seasons myself. And I'm like, he's probably right. Doing a season replay is going to be brutal. So what I decided I'm going to do is I'm probably going to get the 13-14 season, which happens to be the Kings and the Rangers finals. And what I think I'm going to do is replay the actual playoffs from the start. So they had a lot of really good series in 13-14. Great finals between the Kings and the Rangers. Not that they would meet again, because if you're replaying the whole thing, you never know. But
I printed out a few today. Like I say, the rosters. I like how you can print out the rosters and see what cards you're going to get. And one of them I printed out with was the 74-75 WHA. I'm tempted on that one there. You got Jerry Cheevers, who was over there on Cleveland. Gordie Howe was there. Bobby Hull. So there's a handful of NHLers.
Yeah, right. That would be that would certainly be different.
I like a lot of the 70s. I play a lot of the 70s. I got 90-91 is what I got. So that was some. Oh man, you look at Hull and Oates and Iserman and Bork and Neely, and it's something else. It really is.
Yeah. There's I'm thinking redo playoffs. You're talking best of 7. So you're talking probably around 40 to 50 games, which would be like half a season, which is a little bit easier.
Yep. So yeah, the long-term product. Like I say, some of the other things I like in this game is I like how they handle the line changes. Is that it's not just a flip the cards over, whatever. It's you actually have to dump the puck in, and sometimes it's just a turnover while you change lines. But then the other team has to do the same thing. Because at first I was like, well, that ain't fair. You have the puck. Why you should turn it over? Well, the other team's got to turn around and give it right back to you, so to speak. But then they added the in the corner battles, and I've won several of those. I've won several in the corner battles, and got one in the crease battle, got a shot on that. I still haven't scored on it yet, but I have had that happen. And I think little things like that really. Now I haven't done the matchups yet. That's something we can talk about later because I saw you doing the matchup play. I haven't done that yet. But this game just adds so much beyond the basic mode. And this is probably one of the first games that I can say I want to play like everything this has to offer. Like even with Strat, I do advanced. I don't do super advanced because I'm just I tried it and I'm not that good with it, you know, and I just the tip ins and the power plays I have a real hard time with. So I play advanced and I love it. You know, again, that's what, but this here, everything seems to flow in the same motion. So every day I try to learn something new and tack something new on. And, you know, I wasn't going to do the corner battles. I was just going to dump it in and call it a day. And I tried it. And boy, it is fun. It is fun. It just.
In my Washington Tampa series, I used the dump in rule. Ovechkin in the corner, to Backstrom shoots, scores. So I've actually had one in. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. You don't get that out of any game, right? So, you know, it does add a little bit of complexity to it. And it's not going to happen all the time because you got to roll on a chart to see who gets it. Yeah. And then you got to change line. And then you got to win the corner battle. Then you're going to win the slot battle. And then you get to win your shot on goal against the goalie. So there's a lot that's got to go into it. But yeah, it's pretty cool when it happens.
I don't think there's any other game that does that off the top of my head. You know what I mean? I can't think of any game that handles line changes like that. Usually it's just line change.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, it's definitely a neat feature of the game. It adds, it is an optional one for you guys out there. Just so you know, it is an optional rule. It is recommended rule. So you should use it. And it's, I guess, you know, if you're thinking of APBA Basic and APBA Master, this is part of the Master Hockey because it's, you know, the little stats on the bottom. And it does add quite a bit. The matchups are just like that, although they're not just on dump-ins. It can happen at any time you roll 53.
Yeah, I saw that. So we're going to add Tebow here, who's been doing some really good
videos. How you doing?
Hey, good to see you guys.
He's in the Pittsburgh area, but that's okay. So you've been doing some APBA hockey videos. You know, what was the idea behind doing those?
Well, actually, one of my buddies from. Well, I've been watching the legends like you guys. First of all, you know, doing all these videos. I was like, I got to join the fun.
Like, can you turn down your speakers a little bit? We're getting some feedback here, or there's something playing in the background.
One of my buddies from college actually texted me because I took my YouTube videos down. I had baseball videos on, and he said, "Yeah, what happened to your videos?"
No, I appreciate it because they are explaining some of the finer points of the game. You know, you did the penalties today and you did some other gameplay and the whole bit. So they have been helping.
Oh, you know, I got you up here. Hold on, let me get you off. Yeah, it should be better.
Yeah, we heard that. Yeah, you go.
I had your stream up. Yeah, one of my buddies, he said, "What happened to your YouTube videos? You took them down." I had baseball videos, and like I never thought anyone was watching them. Like he's like, they were inspiring me. So you pushed me over the edge to do some hockey videos.
And I encourage people, like I say, because there's not a lot of APBA hockey. There was ID, there was Dave, There might have been one other guy. I know Rob played a game as well.
Yeah.
And so when you started putting them up there, it was great because it helped me learn. Like I say, because I'll sit and I'll watch ID play a game, and he kind of like learns as he goes, and I kind of watch that. And then Dave like had his whole presentation, which was really good, And then you kind of focused on one or two things, and I was like, that's what I need is that way when I'm playing. So I put them all together. And then when you sit down, it makes sense, But having the bigger charts and the cheat cards here and everything else really makes a difference there.
Heck yeah.
It really does. And again, I don't mind that I'm really not making decisions in the game aside from lines. I like watching the game play. It feels like I'm sitting there watching the game.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how fun that can be. It really can,
Yeah, wait till you get like a close game at the end. Did you have a close game at the very end?
Last night.
Yeah, I had one last night.
Oh, those are fun rolls, aren't they?
Yeah. It's because you don't get any of the X results.
Right.
So you have like 4 plays in a row that something can happen on. There was 2 shots on goal and 2 like good shots on goal on the goalie, and they were up 4-3, and he had to make both saves on one play. So
it was after midnight, and it was like the last couple minutes of the game. And so I was laying in bed, like watching on my phone. I was like, man, I got to get to sleep here, but I don't want to end. And he's just like, and it's cleared out of the zone. No time change. I still got a minute and a half to go. And it hit a shot on net. It's a save. It's cleared away. No time change. And you could just feel them coming at the goalie. It just you pressure. Even watching it, I felt that,
Yeah. Did I say that about the power plays? Like it's like excruciating. Like when you're shorthanded and you don't get that X. And it's like, oh my God, when's this X coming? And like they take the puck and like I didn't get the X.
Yeah.
So
the other thing, Dave, I know you mentioned, I think it was on your video, that you haven't seen any breakaways or anything, but you got to start using the long pass rule.
Yeah.
I haven't done everything yet, so I do want to try that. There's a few things I haven't done yet.
Yeah, there's breakaways on the matchups too. So like, you guys, I'm going to do a video on the matchup charts, which is really fun because the matchup occurs on you roll 53 on the forecheck 2, and so if you roll 53, you get this matchup, and it takes like 2 players and they match them up to each other on their different ratings. It's kind of like the corner battles, and it uses some of those other ratings at the bottom, like that A, that other A, and the other S. You see that skate rating. And
those are confusing because every time I saw I was using intimidation.
Oh yeah,
and then finally I was like, no, the I at the bottom. That's what I got to use.
I remember that threw you off last year when APBA Chatter sent you the first game. Like that was that intimidation, and because they call it physical on the boards, but it's actually intimidation.
Yeah, I was all confused with that. Yeah,
that's very confusing for me.
Yeah, there was a few things that were confusing with that. Keith, no, it doesn't skip past face-offs. It actually comes with a little card that has
it's
all the face-offs.
It's actually very involved, actually.
You roll the dice and you look at the face-off, and it's very much like Strat. Whoever has the higher one has the +1 advantage, or it's even. And then the dice roll of I think it's 2 to 12, two dice rolls, and you just see who wins the face-off. The face-offs are simple, they really are. And I do like all the offense and defensive zone chart.
Yeah,
it's not tremendously different, but there's a little variety in there. So if you want to, I play that. I was playing that since day one. I looked at that. Oh yeah, I'm playing. The zone face off rather than just generic. And so I do like that. I haven't pulled the goal yet. I did play a game. I was 90-91. I was Chicago playing Calgary. So you had Roenick and Chelios and Ed Belf. Oh my gosh, that was great against Joel Otto and Theo Fleury. And guys like that. Al McGinnis was on defense, so that it was a really fun game. And I put in Stu Grimson.
Oh yeah, I said the goon.
Oh, the first period he got 17 penalty minutes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's a penalty waiting to happen.
Yeah, so I purposely put him in for that. It's like so he got the goon up, but Calgary was trailing by 2 in the third, so I went to forecheck 3, and I tried that, and then I put Chicago in forecheck 1, and Chicago ended up scoring like 3 goals because just I guess that's the risk reward, and
Yeah.
they didn't get much reward out of that. So
Yeah, when you're in that 4-check-3, that other team gets a lot of interceptions and shots. Yeah, that's
so
it's
you
almost
wonder
like
if that's
team
even
up.
worth it. You wonder if it's
Yeah.
worth going to 3. You know?
Yeah, and that's been pointed out already on the Delphi boards about like it's the other team gets too many shots like on interceptions on that.
Yeah.
And
But there's some really fun things about I like that it does some things different. And we talk about the breakaways. That's the one thing I do miss. PJ brings that up. And PJ's not a fan of Apple, which is fine. You know, that's fine, PJ. That's not your cup of tea.
Right.
That's fine.
They're on the rare play chart.
Yeah. So I do like I say, I do like the strat how you can penetrate or you can pass. You can get an inside shot. You get a breakaway and a rebound. But like I say, there's rebounds in APBA, and I didn't realize that till I started playing. It's like, oh, okay, here's rebounds. That was pretty fun, you know. On even if you miss the shot, if you're out of the scoring range, the goalie makes a save, your team can still get the puck back. And I was like, I like that. I like it when it's not concrete. It's like, okay, it's a goal or it's not a goal. No, it's even if you think it's a goal, it might not. And when you think it's not a goal, you still might get another chance. Yeah. So it does that. And, and Strat does that too with the rebounds. Let's be fair. We're not dumping on any particular game here. We're just talking APBA because, I just started playing. I'm excited. And, Tebow's doing some videos. And ID's been playing some of his games, and I like how ID will play like a full period or full game because I can get a real good feel of it. And then Tebow, you come in and do like little segments. So it's a nice yin and the yang for somebody like me who's trying to learn the game.
I'm the yang.
We got some more coming. So.
You're the yang.
That was a great job on those videos. ID too. I was watching that today. The Vegas, Washington.
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Really, I know, Dave, you said it a couple times that there's really not a lot to do, but there is some finer nuances that I'm finding after playing some of these games that I think you're going to start learning. Like certain line combinations and defensive pairs are going to go well together because, if you got a 14-16, that's an ODAI 0 adjustment. But if you can get them up to a 17, right, you get that +1. So your second line might work better with your second pair as opposed to your third pair. So there's these little tidbits of things where you're trying to not min-max but kind of figure out those. If I put this player on the fourth line and bring this guy up, then I get a better result.
I had that same issue with Hockey Blast because in Hockey Blast you lay out your lines too, and you're like, well, this team's going to have more triangles than this team, so they're going to get more scoring chances. But this team will take the puck away a little bit more. So it was always intriguing how, and it's tough when you're playing yourself because you got the two teams, and you're like, how do I set it up? Because I can see who's going to win what matchup, and that was always tough. So I would always like set the visiting lines and then go off and do something and try to like forget about what I did. Put a piece of paper over it and then set my home lines and see what I got. But
that's
it is kind of home
ice advantage they call. Like even Strat, the APBA and Strat have the same home ice advantage. They say like put the visitor line out, then put the home line out to match them up if you want. And
I suppose you can do that too.
Same like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And the thing that some of the things in this game that I didn't think I would like was the shot block.
Oh yeah.
I thought that when I first played it last summer, I was like, this is stupid. Why do I want a shot block? Seriously. You know what I mean? Just tell me if it's on net or not. Who gets the puck? Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Why do I want a shot block? But the way this does a shot block, when you take out the shot block chart and you see where the puck goes, I've had more than one time I've taken a shot, it's gone back to my shooter, and I got a shooter, +1 on my next shot. Oh, nice. That's why we have block shots in here. Everything, there's a reason for everything in this game, and sometimes you don't really see it till you got it in front of you,
Yeah, well, you mentioned about that. You had that Bork pairing. Bork and somebody else had like an automatic shot block, like when you hit that number. And,
a shot block 1 or shot block 2. I didn't even check because I think they had a 5.
And you could see that happen. Like those are like the premier defensemen, and you could see that going on.
Yeah,
and
but it is fun too.
Fun thing is at the end of the games, like if you have a lead, you could put, like ID was saying, put your max defense out and go into 4-check-1. You could knock them down like 3-4 4 rows, it's like you just crush their soul. It's like they can't get the puck into the offensive zone. It's like it's fun, you know.
What I did like too about the block shot, there was one time there where the 2 guys had a 5, you know, and then I rolled a 6, so there's still a chance, and I got the shot through, and that was kind of cool too. So these little things I do enjoy. So ID, you were gonna say?
I was just going to say, for you non-hockey aficionados, right? You just want to play the hockey game to play the hockey game. You know, for me and probably everyone, like, I set my lines up and I just go with it. And I don't really care about trying to min-max until like third period, 6 minutes to go, one team's down by 1 or something like that. You know, that's when I actually, okay, well, wait a minute now. Let's see if I can actually put things together. I let the first part of the game just play itself out. And then if it's close at the end, then I try to actually min-max things and try to – because when there's a minute and a half to go, I literally spent – and Dave, you can say, I spent like 5 minutes setting up that one line, trying to figure out who am I going to get on left wing, who am I going to get on the center, because it was important.
Yeah.
Right?
What I did that was fun is somebody suggested to go – 4 minutes a line and go 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. And so your top line is going to be out there for 8 minutes. Your second line's out there for 8 minutes. Your third line for 4. And your top is going to start and finish the game. And that's what I've been using for my games. And that works out quite well. I do something similar with Strat, where I think I go like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, or whatever I do with Strat. But I always have my top line start and finish for both teams. And that's just a lot less work and card fiddling, you know?
Yeah. And that's what they're that's why the Strat, they don't give you all the players though, so you have to like buy the extra players to do that. Like, because if you didn't say I buy the regular set, you can only do 3 lines.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I
like Strat too. I'm not down.
Yeah, no, I like Strat too, but I do like the fact that you get all the cards in and you don't got to go printing anybody and they're all there. You know, so that's one of the things that I do like about that. And don't get me wrong, I love my Strat, and I have a ton of seasons, and I bought everything I could buy with them. But yeah, that is a nice feature right there. Keith says, ODAI, is that some incontextual? Yes, that tripped me up. ODAI tripped me up so bad. It was so menacing, and I made fun of it on the podcast.
You're Darth Vader, Dave. That was so funny. I was cracking up.
Check the ODAI. And I was just like, this. If they called it DA, defensive adjustment, nice and simple. ODAI, just that. I don't know what that is. Seriously, that messed me up. That was intimidating, and then that turned me off. And then I'm like, oh, the ODAI, I got to adjust this with ODAI. That's just great. ODAI, you know, Jeepers Creepers, you know. So yes, I was all confused at that. That was a bad name for that. It just doesn't roll off the tongue, you know. I'm not out there. So. But once I figured that out, you know, and the little card helps, you know, and then how so on the score sheet now, I just write down what it is, and that saves tremendous amount of time. I just put, you know, so line 1 on the visitors, you know, their ODAI is going to be, you know, +1, and the other one's a 0. So now when I flip, I got to check it's right there, and so there's ways to speed that up.
One thing you'll see is I start playing some of the bad teams. I know you play the bad teams.
I do.
Their ODAI goes the other way, so they're actually sending teams up the chart a little bit, you know, like you get some really bad teams. Our O-Day is like 8 or 9, and wow, this team's so bad. I'm getting shots I shouldn't have shots here.
Well, that's why I can't wait to play some of the really bad teams and some of the good, just to see, because I like to do that. I did that in Hockey Blast, whereas I took the SEALs and the Scouts. They were 2 bad teams. Yeah. And like nobody had a triangle. It was such a bland game, you know, but it was still fun because it was like, wow, this is really kind of fun, you know?
Yeah.
So you were talking about line changes, right? So what I normally do is just play 3 plays in a row, which is roughly a minute and a half, right? And then I got all my sheets, all my cards I just take the sheets and cut them out.
Yeah.
And so literally when it's, you know, I got them stacked on the table. So when it's a line change, I just flip it over to the next line. Uh-oh.
I made you full screen.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm like, did I hit a wrong button? So I got them just on my table like this. So when I'm doing, and I just, line change, I just take one off.
Oh, I see.
There you go. So it literally only takes me. So I do a lot of line changes. I know.
Yeah, I do exactly like you, ID. That's exactly how I do it.
You know, I started
and
doing
the other thing
I
is because you're going to add up all the defenders. So what, like you said, Dave, I pre-calculated everything, so you can see up here in the top, these two defenders are an 8. This line is a 12. So if these guys are on, all I have to do is look at those two numbers, and I go, oh, that's a 20 ODAI.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah. So I got those numbers all ready to go.
Yeah, what I do is
If you wanted to really speed it up, and I did this with my first series, is you actually put line 1 on one side and line 2 on the other.
Oh, that's a good
All you
idea.
have to do is just flip it over.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
have the next line. So then you only have literally 2 of these on the table for the 4 lines. You just flip it over, and then you flip over this, and then you flip over this, and you did all 4 of your lines.
I see. Yeah, what I was doing is I had my big mat that I had printed out at Ink Gaming, and it's actually the Hockey Blast mat. And I just put the cards on that because it's a hockey rink behind it is what it is. And I have it set up so I have my stack and I just flip it over. You know, so
I like that.
So his line 1, and I go to line 2, and then flip that over, and line 3's here, and then when I go back to line 2, I just put this back on top, and line 1's back on top, and they fit perfectly on that mat. Just having the 5 guys on each side and the goalie, it's amazing how they fit. And so that way there, I just flip back, and I don't have to be shuffling around with anything, and that's kind of been working for me, and I like that there.
Yeah, that Ink Gaming guy, he does an APBA mat where you could put all the players out at the same time, which is kind of like the baseball card sheets, but it's a big mat, just like you have, and you can put everybody on.
I think I saw that. Yeah. I think I did, because that's
Dave,
what I used to.
Dave S, I think, has that on it.
Yeah. I think I have that for the Blast, where I put everybody out for Blast, but the Hockey Blast cards are this big, so.
Yeah. I tried to do that with my Stratomatic, and it took up like
the Strat cards are big.
Space.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah.
So then I was thinking, because the Stratomatic cards, of course, they're designed not to fit in these little sleeves.
Right.
So.
Dave Gardy, you have a nice Strat setup with that. When you have that little
pedestals
you do.
Yeah, he's got the little stair step, and he just
those are actually playing card holders.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. And they work okay. I was trying to find someone around here that did woodworking that would make me one that's a little shallower so I could see the whole card and a higher step, because they don't, sometimes you can see the name of the guy, but you sometimes got to pull back the card to see it. But it does speed it up because I can have all my forwards in there. And the defense, I go 2-line defense, so I can just put them on the table and just flip those. That's no big deal. But the idea being that, okay, 3rd line, Derek Sanderson takes a shot. I can just, that's a 7. That's a, whatever that is, so you can just do it. Yeah. So that saves time too. So I do that with a Strat. I started doing that with the on-deck baseball too. I put the on-deck baseball cards in, and that worked out well too, because you get 3 across, so you get the 9 batters, and the whole bit. So that worked out well.
The Grizzlies and the Nailers and.
Yeah, that's actually kind of fun. That's my first venture into.
It looked fun what you were doing. I've never played fictional games, but that game looked fun. Like what you were doing, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know
anybody, so it's all brand new. But the game plays well. It's a good baseball game. It really is.
Yeah, those line changes I put on my video, that was from they have a national tournament of APBA Hockey, which they play it in Alpharetta, Georgia every year. And you play first 2-3 rounds on Zoom, and then it goes, once they determine like the semifinalists, they play them at the convention in June in Alpharetta, Georgia. So like a couple of teams that have won like recently were like the 76, 77 Canadians won the national tournament, and the 50s Canadians also won too. So the 50s Canadians, the defensemen, very weak offensively, but they win the high defensive ratings and high clearing ratings, high corner numbers. So they win all the corner battles, they win all the slot battles, but they can't score. But then you got like Maurice Richard and all those guys, and
it is. So what? We'll start with you, ID. What are your favorite seasons you like to play when you play hockey?
Being a big Los Angeles Kings, Chicago Blackhawks, Tampa Bay Lightning are kind of my teams. So I like to play those seasons. And, oh my gosh, nothing better in hockey history. Avalanche Red Wings rivalry.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
95,
Yeah.
96,
Oh, yeah.
96, 97, 97, 98. Those
Yeah.
3 seasons, when you get those 2 teams together, it's a blast.
Yeah.
They
Like
have
Claude
so
Lemieux.
many good players. Forsberg, Yzerman.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And
They hated each other too, which was so awesome.
And it was always for the biggest prize, right? Because like literally Colorado won, then Detroit won, so
That was too bad about the NHL when they get rid of the 1-16 format, because for many years the winner of the West, that was the best series. The West Finals was the best, and the Stanley Cup wasn't nearly as good. So so when you saw that Detroit Colorado, man, and then it was a big letdown going into the finals. There really was.
Yeah, because they went and played Washington or Florida,
New Jersey and Florida, I think they played. Yeah,
with the 2 teams. So so those seasons, really enjoyed those. And then of course Gretzky in Edmonton, and of course on the Kings, I love those seasons as well. So
you like the newer ones? Do you ever play anything old?
I don't play old. No. I just for me, I enjoy the quick, fast pace of hockey as opposed to the big bruising teams. So, that's kind of my thing. So, so the older hockey, 70s and 80s. I mean, I grew up in Buffalo. That's where I was born and raised until I moved out when I was 21. We would go to the Sabres games all the time. So we'd have hockey night in Canada on the TV every Saturday night. I mean, I grew up on hockey. So hockey was my number one sport up until about 4 years ago. And, I love everything about the hockey, but man, I just can't get back into the 70s and 80s because the 90s and beyond were so much better in my opinion.
Yeah. Gilles, how about you? What do you like to play?
Well, me and Mr. Juckett are in a similar vein with the Canadians.
Sorry, you're breaking up. We can't hear you. You're breaking up. We might have to let you go. Thanks for coming on the show.
My dad, he's from Montreal. I'm in Pittsburgh. He's actually lived in Pittsburgh now longer. He lived in Montreal. He moved here when he was 20, and he brought me up a Canadians fan. But you know what? Now he's more of a Penguins fan, and I'm still a Canadians fan. So, but I like 90. I'm like ID. I like 90s. Went to a lot of games at the Igloo in the early 80s, like even before Lemieux was there, when they had like Mike Bullard and Roberto Romano and net, and
wow,
it was good. And then Lemieux came around, our hockey exploded around here. So
that
was big.
Lemieux, Yager.
Yeah.
That's what I have. I got the 90-91 season. That's what I ordered. And because I wanted to play North Stars and Penguins, I was going to replay a couple of those games to see how that went. So I saw the Pittsburgh lineup. I'm like, oh boy.
Penguins are pretty crazy. Lemieux probably has a crazy shot range, assist rating, everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can get over 60 on that. If you combine that frequency and the shot range, if you can get to 60 or above, you're superstar. That's like Alexander Mogilny and
I like how you pointed that out in your videos. One of the videos you were showing, the ratings and the whole bit and stuff. Like I say, I hadn't picked up on yet because I'm still very, very new. But it's just
to play it.
Like Stu Grimson's card was 56, 61, 65. So any penalty check was instant penalty. You didn't have to roll. But there's other guys. Their assist ratings are through the roof. So it's man, you don't even got to check their card. It's like they're that good, And that's another thing that makes it fun is when you look at the card and you're like, oh boy, this is a fun, because I'm starting to learn the strat cards. You can see the goalie ratings and the instant goals. With the app, you don't quite have that, but you can see assist ratings. You can see how many ones are on the card. So I'm starting to learn the APBA code, so to speak, and that's making it very fun. It is.
Yeah, if you can get those shot range guys up in the 30s, sometimes you'll get some outliers at with low minutes played. Someone had that shot range is really based on their shooting percentage. So if you look at Hockey Reference and you compare that to their shot range, it'll be if they have a high shooting percentage, they're gonna have a high shot range. So, You'll
I
find
just
some low guys. You go, I'm gonna get this guy with like 35 shot rating.
But it is fun because I had a guy. There's a defenseman for Boston who was not a scorer. I don't know if he ever scored a goal. Jim Weimer. He played with the Bork and the West.
I know. Yeah.
So Jimmy Weimer played defense. He was third line. He got a damn shot on goal the other night. I think his shooting was like a 12 or a 13, and I rolled the snake eyes. And Jimmy Weimer got a shot on net with a chance to score, and I thought that was pretty damn cool. Now, he didn't score, but just the idea that, and again, we talk about envisioning the game, so it's like he's not a goal scorer, but maybe the puck went back to the point, he threw it towards the net, and it might have hit a defenseman's skate and gone in. So you gotta envision these things in your head. You can't say, oh, he never scored. It's like, I like the idea that anybody can score at any time, because it just, you throw the puck, it's going to bounce around. You never know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Yeah, get some tight things. You guys were mentioning projects there too. Like, you're right. That replay seems like it would be almost impossible to do. Like, I got through half of a Canadians replay. I went to something else, but
yeah, well, like Uncle Ron says, maybe you take one team and you play their season and you see what you can do. And knowing that, if you got to play 80 games and the games take an hour and a half, that's what you budget for. Maybe do a couple games a week, and it's a year-long project. It's not something you do in a weekend,
Yeah.
So something like that, or you just play a playoff series, or again, whatever you want to do. But to try to tackle a whole season with a full, I call this a full game, Strat or APBA. It's like, even with baseball. I mean, I suppose you can rip through the baseball a little quicker than the hockey. But yeah, that's something that I don't think you would really want to try. Keith had a nice question here. I suppose, Jules, you could probably answer this better than me. Would this game accurately portray the brutality of a team like the Broad Street Bullies?
Yes, it does. You'll get guys with a lot of I just was showing on one of my videos. They had a Moose DuPont and I forget who the other defensemen were, but they were maximum intimidation, maximum clearing. Their clearings were 5. They said it was like 10, which is like the highest you can get.
Yeah,
they both were 5. The right and left D, and their defensive rating was 5. And then they had all their min ratings were really high. So if they get a coincidental roll, they're probably going to be the ones throwing punches.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. I do like that. I do like all the little rolls there. Like I said, the clearing. That is brilliant, because, it's like, okay, shot save, rebound goes here, but check the clearings. I like that. It's
the best part about the clearing is it puts pressure, because if you don't clear it, the other team gets a shot on goal. Yeah. So it's not just, I'm going to clear it, and if I don't clear it, it's going to be a face-off. You got pressure, because if you don't clear it, the other team gets a shot on goal.
Yeah. And what the other thing is about this game is that's really weird, because if you listen to me on the show, you listen to me here on the channel, you know that I always say I don't want to do math in my game. I just want to play. In Strat, there's no math. I mean, there's a penetration. You might have to look at a chart. But there's really no math. In other games, you look at the shooter, you look at the defenseman, you subtract this. I didn't want to do that. For some reason, doing math in this game doesn't bother me nearly as much as I thought it would. Maybe because it's a quicker math. It's kind of like,
what's big numbers. It's like 1 + 6 or 5. It's like smaller numbers too.
Yeah, the forecheck, the 1, 2, 3, or so even intimidation. And a lot of times it's like just the D or just the forward. So you're not always adding up the entire line. So for me,
at that one question, I have the 73, 74 Flyers out right now.
Ooh,
their intimidation is.
Pick the worst guy. Who had the most penalties? And we want to see that guy.
As a 66 major rating. So if he's checked for a fight, he's automatically going to be the fight opponent.
Show that card. We want to see that card.
There we go.
Oh boy. Right
there.
Dave
Schultz. There he is.
Oh, 66 major.
66.
Intimidation of 5. And he's still got a 33 shot.
So look at his shot range. He'll actually score goals too if he gets the puck.
33. And he's got a 54 mine. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
So that is a powerful card as far as scoring too. And like that's just one of them. Like Bobby Clark is a 4 and a wow. It's the Broad Street Bullies.
So you will get a lot of, like I said, I put in the Stu Grimson, and in the first period he got a fight. a misconduct and a minor. He got 17 minutes right off the bat, and it was fun. I got to say, that was kind of fun because I was a test. He was not on the top 3 lines, but I said, I'm going to put him in the game because I know who Stu Grimson is, and boom, 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 boom. He got in a fight.
Right away, he's going to fight.
Yeah. Neely got in a fight. My first game with Neely and I think it was Thomas Sandstrom got in a fight in the Kings in my game. So Neely had to go for 5 minutes, it was kind of fun.
Neely used to he had a high major rating too, I think, Neely, because I think he would throw on the gloves a lot.
Oh yeah. He fought, before he got hurt, he would fight all the time. I think even after he got hurt, he fought all the time.
It's hard to think of what's the value of those just high fighter guys. You put them on the ice and they can't score. I think the only value is they go after their a Neely. Neely could score. So if you get a matchup between Neely and the Goon, he'll take Neely off the ice for 5 minutes. So that's the only thing I could think of would be the value of those high.
Now, I want to talk about the matchup. Okay. But 1 second, though. Brian has a question. It's kind of a football question, but we can get to that too. What's the most detailed, accurate football game you guys think? Gilles, why don't you answer first? Do you play football?
Yeah, I play a lot of APBA football. I have a Zoom. I have a buddy. We Zoom NFL playoffs. We've been doing a couple seasons. Right now, we're doing the 72 NFL season or playoffs. We just finished 1980 playoffs. APBA football takes a while. It's like hockey. It's not a quick play game. So you gotta the beauty of APBA football is a head to head. And I think you guys touched this on one of your digital to dice with the challenges that chess match that goes on in football, how to simulate that in a solo environment.
Yeah,
where it's hard. You have to roll dice. You have to depend on dice to decide for the defense or whatever, or a card flip. But when we play head to head, it's true football. It's I actually feel like I'm the middle linebacker versus he's the offensive coordinator. And we're just like this on Zoom talking,
So app is fun. ID, you've played football on your channel. I've seen you play one. Actually, recently.
Yeah. Actually, since I was looking at the APBA hockey, I figured I'll just click on the football and check it out. Talk about a commitment, boy.
Yeah.
You're expensive. Talking $140 for a season file.
Ooh, it's expensive.
So I'm still considering it because I want to give it a try because I'm intrigued. But I got 2 of them if you're into football. Second Season Football by Play.com.
Yeah.
Excellent game. And also Inside Blitz by the Inside Sports guys. That's an excellent game as well. Both of those, I would highly recommend either one of them for they're kind of what I would call meaty, but not overly cumbersome football games. Yeah.
Okay.
So those would be my 2.
We're talking just cards and dice here, right? Not PC games.
I'm not. I think he was talking cards and dice.
Cards and dice.
Yeah, because does APBA have a PC football game?
No, they used to years ago in the 80s, and it was very glitchy. It had some issues. There was a DOS game that came out, then a Windows game, and then they quit making it.
Okay. ID, did you use the matchup play in APBA?
Yes.
And did you the entire time?
If I can remember. Yeah, I wish the cards would have a little asterisk next to the 53 and the 62 because those are the 2 numbers you can get when a 53 is when forecheck 2, but if you're in forecheck 3, you can get it in 52 or 53 or 62.
Yeah.
I wish there was a little asterisk next to these because a lot of times I'll forget.
Yeah,
because there's nothing to remind you other than your brain.
That's a good point. You know what? If you're an APBA baseball player, and let's say you've played a lot of APBA in your life, you pick up hockey. 53 is the error number if you remember in baseball. That's the one you always get the error on, 53. So that's how the baseball people remember that 53 is that's the error number in baseball. And that's a nice thing about if you're going to APBA hockey from APBA baseball, a lot of the numbers are the same in baseball, like a 1628. That's the same thing in baseball. So the APBA hockey card will look, the number position is a lot like the baseball cards, and you'll see that, and that makes the APBA person comfortable, it's I'm used to this.
So ID, did you jump right into the matchup play, or did you add that after you played?
No, yeah, no, I always used it. Like I said, as long as I remembered. I haven't rolled that many 53s. We did have one in the game yesterday, but I think it's a good addition because it's like I said earlier, it's like that corner battle, but it's not when you're doing line changes, so it's a one and done type thing.
Yeah. It really adds that as extra little ratings too, like those skate ratings and things. Like at the bottom of the card, you kind of use all those little ratings. Yeah. Plus, it even looks. You might even look at multiple guys. They'll say like the guy's skate rating versus the two opponents' defenses rating. So like one guy is going against two guys. And it's pretty neat.
I like that. Now, ID, you got hung up last night on the there was a tie in one of your matchups, and it didn't really specify who won the tie until we really went back, and it kind of said if the offense is greater, then he wins, but it never specified the tie. It was kind of a
yeah. That was a little bit of a hang up. I wish there's just the rules would be a little tighter for me. Yeah. Just kind of, so I don't have these questions. Like the other hang up or issue I ran into is it doesn't specifically say one way or the other what to do when a penalty's called. If the penalty's on the other team, does the team with the puck, is the whistle blown? Do you continue playing until the other team gets the puck? What happened? It doesn't say one way or the other.
Yeah, because Strat lets you play on until there's a touch up. I think how this goes, and Jills, maybe you can clarify, is that if your person A has the puck, Cam Neely has the puck, and he rolls a minor penalty, the penalty's on him, play stops, right?
Correct. So that because you're rolling on that card, and the card reflects Cam Neely's penalties ratio. So that's Cam Neely gets the penalty because that's how you got it off of Cam Neely's card. So that's who the penalty. Now you get the coincidentals, then you're going to have to look at the other guys, roll for those.
Now, what is it about the 12, the 14, and the 16 rolls you were talking about?
That was for the double minors. So, like if you get a penalty off of those three rolls or play result 35, that's the double minor. So, what you do is you roll again on the min rating, and if you hit that min rating a second time, then it gets a double minor.
Oh, I see. So if you roll a 12 or 14 or 16 on the dice, and that result is a penalty, that could be a double.
Yeah. So if he gets a penalty on a 12, 14, 16, or play result 36, then you roll it again on the min rating.
And that's just on the player, right? That's not on anybody.
Just on that player, yeah.
Okay. And you roll on the min. Okay.
Yeah.
So is the penalty always on the player? No. Yes, here's the problem with everything you said, and I agree with everything you say. The problem is I kept rolling the bench minors. So the bench minor can be on the other team and not on your team.
Yeah, well, you check the other team first. On the bench minor, you check the other team first.
And if it's a penalty, then it's a penalty on them and not on you. So right. I have the puck, and I didn't get a penalty, so does the play dead?
Yeah.
Or is it not dead?
No, it's if you don't get the bench minor.
If the bench minor goes on the team without the puck,
I think the play still stops. I think it's a dead play. Something happened.
Yeah, there's a split. It's like a neutral zone face-off or a rare play. If you don't get the bench minor.
Yeah, no, he's saying that if Boston has Cam Neely has the puck and bench minor comes up and he rolls and Montreal gets the bench minor, so that's it. Play stops.
That's it.
Bench minor Montreal. No continuation of play. Boston power play right there.
Right. That's correct.
Okay. And so there's no other roll. It's so check the other team first.
Right.
And if they get it, then that's it. It's 2-minute power play.
Right.
Okay.
And if they don't get it, then you check you.
Which I see what ID's saying. That is kind of weird that if you have the puck and the other team commits a penalty, then you've lost possession of that puck. So I do see that, but I guess you have to think.
I just if it like I said, it's no big deal. If they would have just put like one sentence in there, anytime a penalty is called, the puck immediately stops. Something like that.
Yeah,
it clears up everything because now I read that sentence and I go, okay, anytime we have a penalty, whistle blows, whether I have the puck or not, and we go right to a power play. Or,
Yeah, that's right. The rules could definitely some areas are kind of gray. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. The rules aren't bad. I rated them, a C. I said, the rules aren't bad. It's just there's a few sentences they could add to make things a little easier, and then there's a few things that I found kind of buried in paragraphs.
Yeah,
right. About like we were talking about the matchup, what to do. It specifically said, if the offensive player wins, is higher, then do this.
Yeah.
If the defensive player is higher, then do this. Okay. What if it's a tie? All you had to do is add another sentence. If it's a tie, then the defender wins.
Yeah.
Something like that. So,
sometimes you really got to read how it's working. I've had a few games like that too, where it's like, what do I do here? And it's like, oh, if he beats it, he wins. And that's all it said. So I take it that if he didn't beat it, then if he doesn't beat it, then he doesn't win. So sometimes you got to read between that.
You almost have to write it down.
Yeah. Speaking about the directions now, do you think, coming over from, because I played more Strat than this, obviously. So you come over from Strat where you're used to having that penalty, but the play kind of continue. Do you think going into APBA was they don't do it that way? We were kind of looking for that.
Absolutely. That's what I said in the live stream. We're looking for the rule because we're used to playing it a certain way.
Yeah.
And not all games play the same way. So I'm just used to doing it a certain way. So I'm just assuming this game does it, and that's on me because I shouldn't just assume it. But,
and I wonder if you were coming in from APBA going into Strat, it would probably be foreign to continue the play and not just stop.
Exactly.
Right. The other way around.
What the hell are they doing? How can they keep going here?
Yeah, some guy on the Delphi forums. You guys probably seen a DW.
I'll be right back. You guys talk. I'll be right back.
Yeah, he actually came up with a homebrew way to do the late penalties like Strat does with APBA Hockey, which was kind of interesting. He's played a lot of APBA Hockey. He came up with a homebrew way to do that. Back on the match.
I think you could, like you said, if I roll a penalty on a player's card, he's going to get the penalty unless it's a bench minor, right? So the play's going to be dead anyway. So the only time you really have to worry about this is with a bench minor. And obviously, they're like 12 or less on our dice roll, so they hardly ever happen anyway.
Right.
So
it
just so happens it happened for me. So that was kind of and the other rule that's kind of I'm not 100% sure about is the and this is, I go back and I read this over and over and over again. So I just want confirmation for my own peace of mind, right? Is the it is called the pass star AR shot on goal.
Oh, that's awesome. That's like my favorite result.
So it says if the one of your teammates has an assist rating equal to or less than whatever the original dice roll is, they get an automatic shot on goal.
Yeah,
that's the SOGA. I think that's the SOGA.
That's the SOGA.
Right.
Our SOG is the one where you
No, you're right. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong one. It's the SOGA.
You know how I remember that ID is the SOGA, the SOGA. That is. So what I do with that is that's the one that you look at the dice, you look at the guy who passed the puck. If he passes the check, then that's a SOGA. That's a good play. The other one, the AR, I think AR another roll. That's what I do. Another roll. So the SOG AR, another roll.
Yeah,
you roll that, and if anybody on the ice except that player can beat the check for the assist, then that's the automatic shot. So I think AR is another roll. SOGA is that roll. That's how I did it.
Maybe I am thinking.
Is that the one you're thinking of, ID?
No, it is the ARSOG. Yeah, you're right. So it says, you're going to roll a die to see if it goes to the highest shot frequency, blah, 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 blah. All right. Then it says, next, see if an automatic shot results by the passer's assist rating. An automatic shot occurs. If not, it's just a pass to the man. So proceed with another player action with him as the new puck carrier. So my question is, what is an automatic shot on goal? Does that mean he automatically gets the shot on goal and doesn't need to roll for it? Or it's an automatic shot on goal as in he gets to try a shot on goal?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, what they mean by
Yeah,
automatic
does
is
he
like that.
roll for the shot, or is that shot on the
Because
net?
it
And
specifically says he automatically gets a shot on goal.
What I think what they're getting at there is that say you do the RSOG and you pass it to like you roll and you pass it to the number one highest frequency guy. What that means is that guy automatically gets a shot. So you don't roll on that guy's card to see if he gets a shot roll. It's if he automatically is going to just get a shot. And then
so he has to roll. He has to roll, is what you're saying.
He has to roll in the range,
Okay.
shot range. But he does have to roll on his card to see if he gets a shot result. So that's what they mean by automatic. Is like it's not like he has to roll on his card.
That's the one I've read about 20 times because it is. I mean, just the wording of it could be a little bit better because when I think of automatic shot on goal, I'm thinking, because you have to make a you're already making a check on
the pass.
Hey,
right? So you have to pass, you have to make a pass roll, and then you have to make a shot on goal roll if you don't automatically get it. But if I was to roll on a regular, right? If I roll on a regular card and I get a shot on goal, I only have to do the one roll. So in this way, I have to do two rolls, which is kind of you see what I'm saying? Is kind of makes it twice as hard.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you take a shot on goal, there's no guarantee that it's a possible goal. It's either a possible goal or a save. So you would have to roll to distinguish that
for his shot range.
Yeah. So if the pass is an automatic shot, then you got to roll to see if that shot is potential goal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because every shot can either be.
What I'm saying is, it's only one roll though. You roll on the player's card and you get a shot on goal. You only have to make one shot, or you only have to make one roll to get this shot. Whether it's either going to be an easy save or the goalie has to make a tough save.
The first roll is for the pass. The first roll is to see if the guy gets.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is you got to make two rolls.
Yeah. The first one's for the pass.
Twice as hard.
Well, yeah, that's because it's not as strong a result. It's like it's not a straight shot. It's like it's a little bit weaker result than a straight shot. So it's like a chance at a shot. Think of it like that. So I think of them almost like one timers. Those RSOGs, like that's like a one timer. Think of like where your assist rating. So if that guy has a really good assist rating, he's really good at like set up a one timer. So if he rolls within his assist rating. After you've determined who the guy is, then that guy gets that shot on goal, and the shot on goal is essentially rolling on the range.
Let's see.
So
I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right? Yeah. I'm seeing it. You're seeing it one way. I'm seeing it as Gretzky's coming down. He's going to take the shot. All of a sudden, he slides a pass open. The guy's got a wide open net. Why would I have to roll again? Because we've already rolled once for the pass.
Or it could be, like it's
because if I don't make the pass, then I don't get the shot on goal, right?
But so at the same time, that guy taking the shot might shoot it right into the goalie. So it's not assumed to be an automatic potential goal shot. So you still got to do the score check.
Yeah, it is, because it says you get an automatic shot on goal. So for me, that says it should be an automatic shot. It's like I've made a pass through two defenders onto my player's stick right in front of the goal. All he has to do is tap it in. It should be an automatic.
Well, think of it like this too. If he doesn't hit his assist rating, so let's say he hits outside of his assist rating, that guy he passed it to just gets the puck, so he doesn't get a shot. So that's where the assist.
I see. So if he doesn't pass his passing check, he gets the puck, and then he's got to roll on the forecheck too or whatever.
Yeah. So that's
I see. So, okay, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense now.
Say that again.
So on the RSOG, you're rolling on the guy who made the pass. You roll on his assist rating to see if the guy you pass it to gets a shot or not.
Right.
So if he doesn't get, let's say he doesn't.
That roll should be the same as the guy taking a shot, right?
Well,
See what I'm saying?
What he's saying is that if the pass rating doesn't happen, then you don't get to
Right.
attempt
I
a shot.
understand that, right?
So then
Because
you just
have a
roll on the
and you
chart. Yeah.
failed it.
Yes.
It's just like taking a regular shot on goal. If I roll outside my range, I fail it.
Right. Yeah. So you would just get a regular
they're
shot
equal,
on net.
right? So why would I have to do double the work to get this
well, it's
shot?
almost like it's because it's not as strong a result because he's not getting. It's almost like a chance at a shot. It's a good result, but it's not as strong as like a straight shot on goal. It's a chance you may get a shot. So and it's going to depend on the guy's assist ability.
Yeah. So it's not an automatic goal check.
Right. It's not an automatic goal check.
You roll against his rating to see. Yeah. So he's in range. He can take the shot. Let's see if he's got a chance to score or not. Is basically what it is.
Yeah. If he gets the RSOG, then he's taking a shot on goal and you're rolling on the shot range.
Okay. Okay. All right. I mean,
you make a good point. I didn't even think of that because when I saw it, I just saw the shot. Okay, I'm going to roll for the shot. But you make a good point that if he got a good pass, you would think that he would get a good shot. But I think you're assuming that he got the puck clean and he's in all alone, and he's But so maybe it's an outside shot. Maybe he found a guy at the point, and the guy's going to take the shot. Yeah. So you still have to roll for the shot.
It's a lot of imagination involved. You gotta, like a lot of this game is, a lot of it has to go on your head. What's transpired.
Yeah, I mean, it just. I guess instead of saying automatic shot and goal, maybe they could have said something like, then proceed to a shot on goal with this player or something like that.
Yeah, they could have gone a little further with that.
Right. So don't just tell people it's an automatic shot. Just say now proceed with the shot attempt by this player, and then it clears everything up. Yeah.
Right. I could see where it's in the automatic shot on goal sounds.
Yeah, automatic sounds like.
Yeah, because I played the first game of the Washington Tampa thinking that because. Oh, if I only have to roll once for a shot on goal, why would I have to roll twice for a pass and then a shot on goal, which is twice the work?
Yeah. Yeah, it's assist rating. So that's where guys like a Gretzky's really powerful in this game. Is like when he gets that RSOG result, he's gonna hit. He's like has like a 65 assist rating. He'll set up a guy. He'll be set up one timers all over the place. So that's what's like kind of cool about those really powerful cards.
Yeah. Now, ID, I just sent you over that new penalty chart because I looked and there was an update to the chart. And what it is when you're shorthanded, 10 to 15. I think that was an RSOG for shorthanded. They changed that to a pass with an ARX, meaning if you pass the assist rating, time ticks off, is what it is. So I added that on the chart there. So that's what that is.
Yeah, that is new.
So it's less shots on goal for the shorthanded team. So it looks like you make a pass, you take the check, but instead of a shot, you just kill time on the power play. Is what that looks like. That's the other thing. The asterisks in the game, they kind of mess me up because sometimes they mean something, sometimes they don't. Sometimes can I pass to anybody? Sometimes it don't. The whole asterisk after something, especially after pass, always messes me up because I'm just like, okay, what do I do with this asterisk here?
Yeah, the one with the star really comes up on the one play result that says like pass. Which one is that? Where because there's one result you could choose whoever you want to pass to, and then the RSOG, the dice will tell you who you're passing to. So you kind of gotta like remember those two results. It's that one that's play result 31, and that's the physical check where you're checking the intimidation. So pass physical 10, where you add up the intimidation ratings. So in that pass star, that's the one where you choose. You could choose who you want it to go to.
Okay.
And where the star comes into on the goalie save, you look on the normal save where it says save, shot on goal, phone center, star. Those are the ones that you have to have the 12 or greater to actually get the shot. That's the ones that show up on the normal save.
Okay. And the other thing you were saying too that and I was watching ID play last night is that if the puck goes to an open position.
Oh yeah.
There was some clarification on that. So you said if it goes to an open position during the play, you roll again, but if it goes to an open position coming off the goalie, it's different, right?
Yeah, he falls on it. So like, and that's on the just on the goalie action chart. So just on the goalie results, if it says like
picked up by left wing.
Yeah, save picked up by left wing, it just falls on it. He just falls on it.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, because I think I had a shot that was rebounded to the centerman position, and that position was not there because of the penalty.
Yeah.
So I re-rolled the save. Fortunately, he made another save. But
yeah, see that's what you want to try to avoid, because that goalie already made a save. So like he
right.
trying to,
So
like,
I didn't want to do that, but I'm like, I don't know how to handle this.
I actually watched you when you did that too. I was like, oh man, it's a fall on it. Like, so you rolled it again, but he did save it again on that thing.
Right, yeah.
So face-offs and things like that, if it goes to an open position, roll again, or if a pass goes to an open position. But anything coming off the goalie, just freeze it, right?
Yeah, well, on the I think you asked one question about like I think ID had that question about, or on during his game, about the advantages on a face-off for power plays.
Yeah,
and that comes up only on the two-man advantage.
Two-man, right? Yeah, I saw
so
that.
If it's two-man advantage, they bump their face-off by 2.
Yeah,
that was
I did see that one.
That happened in your game.
I still think that there should be at least should have a 1 advantage on the regular power play, like they do with Strat, you know.
Like Strat does that too.
Yeah.
I might have to house rule that or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
It's just you got an extra guy out there, right? So
someone can fly in and get the
puck in there, you know, unimpeded. Yeah, I don't know. I think there should have been. That's why I kept looking for it, but I couldn't find anything. And then I found the one where if it's a two-man advantage, you get a +2.
Yeah.
So I said, well, they would have probably put it here, so it must not be in the rules. So.
Yeah. So ID, what's some of your what's like your favorite thing or favorite 2 things about APBA Hockey? Like what brings you back to the table to keep playing this when you're like, hey, I want to play some APBA Hockey tonight because.
Well, I like the fact that you get all the players, and you know you don't have to try to order extra player sets and all that. You just get everything shipped to you. You're ready to go. You can put it down and start playing. So that's one thing. I get the sense of what a hockey game is. And like I said, I'm a big hockey guy. So for me, last night, those last 5 minutes, right?
Oh, yeah,
you got one team that's up 3-0. So it is do or die for Winnipeg. And those last 5 minutes of the game, literally, I could have played an hour and I would have been happy, you know, of what was going on. But I was trying to keep things moving forward, you know, for the viewers and everything. But man, that was so exciting. You had mentioned it earlier, and I'm not going to take up much time, but I will bring up another point where you said it's always nice to know any shot can happen. So in our 4 games we played so far, Braden McNabb for Vegas has scored twice. He's got a shot range of 14.
Oh, wow.
He's scored twice so far. And Say Theodore for Vegas has a shot range of 13. He has also scored twice in this series so far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the excitement of, he's only got a 13 now.
Yeah, Jim Weimer. Jim Weimer
to make a save here. That keeps me coming back because you just never know.
Yeah, you're right. That is kind of fun. Yep.
Gilles,
what about you? What are some of your favorite things?
Oh, it's fast paced. You know, it's like hockey. You know, hockey's a fast paced game, and it actually, once you get the flow of it and a little bit of the card results, it feels like hockey, like you said, Dave. It's like because you see the back and forth. You could see like one team like dominating another team sometimes, and like how they control the puck, and the other team can't do anything with it. And you see that happening. And then I'll tell you what, some of the best rolls occur like on those when you get an in-range shot and then the goalie answers with like a double or something, and like you're thinking, oh yeah, shot, and go, oh, he saved it. And it's like and you almost sound like Mike Emmerich, you're like going crazy in your little room.
Yeah, I do. When after I played my first game, I said, wow. I mean, it took me a long time because I was learning and whatever, but I was like, wow, I felt like I was just out of game.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even close. It was the Bruins Kings, and they scored 5 in the third, and they won like 8-3. But Gretzky got a goal, and he played in it. And we had a fight and a whole bit. I had a ton of penalties, a ton of penalties wrecks any game. I've had a ton of penalties in shootout, and it wrecks the game too. So that's not just specific to APBA, but
there's some really old time APBA guys who are like in the APBA Hall of Fame, and they've actually said that hockey could be their best game, like of all their games, of golf, football, baseball. Like it just could be their best game that they've come out with just because of the speed and the back and forth and the excitement of the rolls. Which baseball, you're like ground out the short, single to left. Like here it's like save, goal, and it's like going nuts.
But just the whole line change thing where there's a chance to dump it in the corner and see if you can go get it. So you have to cough up the puck to change the line, but there's a chance you can still get a scoring play. Yeah. That is unique to and that flows. The whole block shot, I talked about block shots. That's part of the game because that shot can be blocked. It can go to anybody. I really do like that, and then again, I haven't pulled the goal yet, but that pulled goalie shot last night, I was watching ID and it felt like a basketball game. That game wouldn't end. And it was like, he was on the edge of his seat. We're all on the edge of our seat. It's just, there's no time change. You could feel the team pressing for that goal. And it was either a save or a shot went wide. They kept it in. And it's not like, well, shot went wide, check. Okay. Shot saved, check, game over. It was not like that at all. It's almost like, and maybe it's by design, that shot, maybe that shot there with the goalie out is designed to extend that for maximum excitement. Maybe that last minute or two, maybe that's by design. Maybe it was just by luck last night. I don't know how that went, but that was pretty exciting stuff, and again, it's just, you feel like, whew, we hung on for the win. That last couple of minutes, they were right at us, shot after shot after shot after shot. And, so that's something else,
It's fun. And like you said, Dave, you were at work and you wanted to come back and play. That's a sign of a good game. If you just finished the game and you want to fire up another one, that's a good game. Yeah.
Now the matchup play again. So that's when you roll a 53 only on the forecheck 2?
It's 53. Is it 62 and 53 on forecheck 3 ID? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. So
okay.
If you're in forecheck 2, when you roll 53, you go to the matchup chart.
So that's a dice roll of 53, right?
Yeah, dice roll 53.
So you ignore the player card.
Right.
And you go right to the matchup chart, and then you roll again?
Yeah.
You'll roll 2 to 12, and it'll give you a column, and then you're going to roll 2 to 12 again, and it'll give you a row. Or I'm sorry, a row and then a column. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll give you an example here, Dave. So, like on a left wing,
we're all pulling out our charts.
I know. We'll say, just look at our left wing, say number 3. This will give you a good example. Left wing, you rolled a 53, so you rolled a 2d12 and you got a 3. Left wing chips puck past opponent and sees opportunity for a breakaway.
Okay, so you stay with the player then, right?
Yeah.
So if the left wing has the puck and he rolls the 53, that's what we're going to read off of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then what you do is you compare the left wing's A rating plus the rest rating versus the defense, the left D and the right D, to see how he's going, how he performs against that defensive pair.
Okay, so that would be the left wing A and S at the bottom of the card.
Yeah, yeah.
And now the opponent left D and right D. What am I looking at? Just
that's
their
just
overall
defensive ratings. Like
okay, so at the top of the card. Yeah. Okay.
And then so on that one now. This kind of throws some guys up. If you look at the bottom right, it says matchup control chart. See, it says like disadvantage player, advantage player. There's a reason for this. I'll tell you what it was. So let's say the left wing has like a 1-point advantage on them.
Now, how would I know that?
Well, it's you add is S and S or the A and S. Say it totals like 10 or whatever. and then
Okay.
say he's better than the lefty, right D's defense. So you compare the two numbers.
I see.
You're comparing numbers. And if the left wing, let's say he's one better, just 1 point better, then you go to the matchup control chart and you roll 2d12 again. So then that guy has to get the advantage player, like that roll 6 to 12, to get the left wing to win. So the left wing wins, he gets a breakaway.
Well, I didn't follow that. So we have the matchup.
Yeah.
So if he wins the matchup, that's not good enough?
No, it's not. There's a reason for it. I'll tell you why. So then you go to this chart and you roll 2d12.
Okay, yeah.
And then you have to hit that 6 through 12 for that left wing to win the matchup. The reason for that is so that left wing doesn't win every single time. So like if there's a left wing that's really
I see.
good,
So okay, I see.
you don't want him to win like every single matchup. So there's a
So if he wins 10-9,
yeah,
there's still a chance
he's
the
always
defenders
going to
can take it
win.
away,
Okay.
yeah.
So if he rolls a 2 and that's a -1 or -2 disadvantaged player, what does that mean?
So that would be the defenseman. So the defenseman, so the defense would win that attempt.
Oh, I see.
That left wing chipped the puck, but those defensemen, if they roll that 2, 3, or 4 on that control chart, then the defenseman wins that play. And then let's see what the result was. It says puck knocked away, intercepted opponent right D. So then the right D would get the puck with an X.
Now what if he won by 4? Right.
4, they automatically win. So if you beat them by 3 or more, you automatically win. You don't.
I see. Okay. So if it's close, if it's a 1 or a 2.
Yeah. If it's no, and the offense has to clearly. This is what ID was getting. The directions are kind of gray on this, but the offense has to clearly win it. So to actually, like a tie is
defense.
To the defense. Yeah.
I see. All right. So on this play here, so if he wins by 2 and he rolls a 4, he still wins it, right? Because it says -1 advantage player, disadvantaged.
Who's the
left wing wins the check by 2.
Okay, so the left wing, if the left wing is ahead by 2, and then you roll 4.
Left wing still?
No, it goes to the disadvantage. So the disadvantage, so if the left wing's ahead by 2, then the disadvantage is the defense gets it.
What's the difference between 3 and 4 then? That's what I'm not understanding.
Oh, like 3 and 4 would be if he's ahead by 3 or 4, you don't even look at this chart.
No, but I mean, like, so if I roll a 3, it says -1 or -2, and then 4 is just -1. What is the difference?
Let's see, it's a -1 or -2. So I think it goes that defensive has to clearly has to be better, or the offense has to clearly be ahead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if the left wing wins by 2, and he rolls a 4,
it's 12-10 in favor of the left wing, and then the left wing rolls a 4. It says -1 disadvantaged player.
Okay.
So the disadvantaged player would then go 12.
Then he wouldn't win. Yeah.
Is he still a win for the left wing?
Yeah, someone has to win it. So that would be the offense. So someone would have to win that. There's no tie, or there's no X. There's no just a tie. Someone has to win.
So let's just say the left winger wins this matchup 12-10, like ID said. 12-10, a 2 and a 3 would go to the defense, even though they lost by 2, right?
Yeah, let's see.
If I roll a 2 and a 3 on that chart.
Yeah, so if that would only go to the defense if it's if they're -1 or -2.
I'm not following here. So my question is, again, the left wing, his A and S is 12.
Mm-hmm.
The opponent in right wing defense is 10. Okay, so it's 12-10 offense over defense. On this chart of 2-12, tell me who wins on each roll.
Okay, so it's a 2-point advantage. So the offense would win 2, 3. So let me see. So the defense is 2 point, but the disadvantage.
The defense has 10. Yeah.
Okay, so the defense would win 2 and 3.
Okay. And if it was a 1-point advantage, then the defense would win 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, correct. Right.
And then the home team wins 5. If the home team is one less, then they would win 5.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to find out. Okay.
Yeah.
So 3 or above, we don't even got to roll. If it's a 1 or a 2, then we do have to roll. There's still a chance that the defense could steal it.
Yeah.
Or the other way too.
It's just so they don't always win it. That's
right.
The thing. It's like
Yeah.
so the offense will always win.
If that went the other way, if the left wing was 10 and the defense was 12, then we kind of read this kind of reverse, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Correct.
So advantage could be the defense. Yeah.
I would have not figured that out on my own, by the way.
Yeah, it's
once you get it,
intuitive.
Yeah, once it's explained to you, yeah. So, but I don't think I would have got that on my own. So, okay.
Yeah, that matchup control can really like rack your brain like penalties can. Because you're thinking defense, advantage, disadvantaged. So.
Well, just the only thing that trips me up on the penalties is when you're going to start rolling all those extra rolls for coincidentals, or there's a fight, then you roll to see if there was an extra minor, and then you see if there was a misconduct. So all those extra rolls is what kind of confuses me, and
yeah. Well, you're being a referee. That should be second hat for you, Dave. With the
but again, it's how they want to do the procedure of okay, from the time the penalty's called to the time the penalty's ended. What do we get? That whole procedure. I'm still learning that.
Yeah.
What did you do for penalties, Dave? Did you just take those players' cards and set them aside? Do you just not use them? How did you handle penalties?
I would flip over the player card upside down. That's what I would do. And then I would just, obviously, if it's a defenseman, I bring in a defenseman, and then I flip over a wing. I flip over like the wing with the least intimidation is what I would usually do. So I would play center, wing, and 2D. That's what I did. And if it was a defenseman, depending where I was, like I said, I go 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. So if I'm building up toward a line change, I'll bring in a guy a little early. So sometimes I'll bring in if the second line guy gets the penalty, if I'm going towards 3, I'll bring in 3, and if I'm coming back down towards line 1, then I'll bring in line 1. Is what I usually do. Or at least that's what I did. So that's what I did. I just flip over the card on the table. And
so you didn't have like specific
penalty killers? No, not yet. Not yet. I just went right with whoever was out there. Again, I go 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 1. And so so it's 8 minutes for the first 2 lines, and then 4. I think that's how we're, 4 for the third line. So I've had, in the middle of the period, I've had a power play, and I said, something, I'm going to leave the third line out there to run the power play and to kill the power play, because they need to get their minutes. Because if I keep taking them out, then they're going to get 1 minute, and then the first line is going to have 12 or 13 minutes of ice time. And so for me, I just kind of stick, and I do that with Strat too. I kind of stick with what I got. Well, sometimes with Strat, I might try to put in a better face off guy, something like that. But it's always tough because I'm trying to think. Okay, here in the middle of the period, the third line's just coming out, and we got a penalty. So do I put them back on the bench and bring out tired guys? And like somebody else said too, we were having a shootout discussion, and somebody was saying, well, the thing about shootout is I had this fourth line guy get a power play goal, and someone brought up the fact that, well, I looked at all the power play goals for that team, and there were several guys that weren't on the first 2 lines to get power play goals for them. So it is possible for anybody to get out there on the power play.
Yeah.
Again, if you're
the power play, just talk about card reading. You want to get like the best guys out there in the power plays. Look for guys with 9s on their cards, because the 9 on the special teams is an automatic shot on goal.
Oh, okay.
That's how APBA. If you look at someone's APBA card, you see like 9s on it. That means they played on a power play. If you go to Hockey Reference, you're going to see their goals on there.
Right. Yeah.
Power play goals. And like on the regular sports tickets, it's blocked.
I tend to let it roll with who's out there. It just simplifies the game for me. It's less line shuffling. It's less keeping track of things. Because again, I'm going to have my top line out there to start the game and end the game. And so I feel as they're going to have their 8 minutes of that period to do what they need to do. And if a power play comes up for line 2 or 3, then so be it. They'll get the power play time. That's just kind of how I do. Again, there's really probably no wrong way to do it.
Right.
Some people love to mix and match and put out the power plays. For me, I think that takes a lot of extra time, and it screws up my line rotation.
Yeah.
So I just let it roll. And again, because I'm not actively playing anybody. I'm kind of sitting back watching it happen, and I just let it play out in front of me is what I kind of do.
Someone had a good suggestion about that, about mixing cards around with the power plays, because like teams do have a power play unit and a penalty kill unit. Someone suggested photocopying just your power play unit, so you have like just a piece of paper with those 5 guys on it.
Well, that's a good idea too.
Yeah, or the penalty kill too. Get your top 4 penalty kill guys with like your best face-up dude. Just photocopy it and just, okay, this is my penalty kill 1. Maybe get another one, penalty kill 2.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then you just put it on the table and over everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to have a photocopier though, but you got to copy them. But that's just
the only problem with that is the guy that took the penalty would be one of the guys that are.
Oh yeah, that's it.
This is true.
Because I've done that before.
Yeah. Yeah. If Neely's already in the box, what do you do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or one of your penalty killers in the box. Yeah. Yeah.
And I do ID's method with the 3 things in the sheets and stuff. So you have to like then pull out their cards,
right?
Or
so
like put cards over.
That's the only advantage. That's why I wanted to know how Dave was doing it, because the only disadvantage of using these is the fact that just trying to I need this player for the
right.
And trying to get it out. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
Yeah, I just have mine. Like I say, I just flip mine on the mat and just that's what I'm doing right now. I might change it as I go about, but that seems to be working for me. And I let the lines roll in the whole bit. Oh no, D. Scott Howard.
Whoa, look at D.
Well, yeah, we're
so I got a question for you 2 guys, and because I've kind of been debating, so I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Stats, keeping track of stats during the game. Obviously, the more stats you keep track of, the slower the game's going to run, because you got to mark down, okay, this player took the shot, this player blocked the shot, this goalie made the save. All that stuff adds up. So do you guys, do you keep track of stats? B, what stats do you keep track of? And C, do you think it's worth it?
I do all of them. You know what? I was doing a lot as a pet, like whole Stanley Cup playoff series, just this tick marks. I do shots on goal, goals, assists, penalty minutes. That's it. Goalie stats, of course, like the save percentage, goals against average. But my thing about hockey, it's not like football and baseball. There's not many stats to do. It's just goals, assists, shots, penalty minutes, and it's not a ton you're adding up. But,
the sheet that comes in the game.
Oh yeah, it's
right. That might not be the greatest sheet in the planet, but you got
it's too small.
You got shifts, right? Yeah. So if you want to keep track of shifts, right, to make sure, this line's been on for 18 minutes already. I don't know if I'm going to put them on again. So shots on goal. Do you keep track of shots on goal?
Yeah.
I keep track of obviously the goals, assists, the penalties, and the team shots on goal. I don't do individual shots. I don't do individual anything except goals and assists. But I do want to see the total shots on goal for the period in the game. That's important to me to see how that shakes out. And I'm roughly getting 8 to 10 shots a period, which is about normal 30 shots a game. So the 2 games I played have been pretty good with that. So I like to go team totals for that. I don't necessarily keep track of the individual plays. I mean, it would be kind of neat. Neely got 6 shots on net, and this guy got 2, and But I mean, I don't go that crazy. But as you get it, you add time to your experience by getting these stats, and what are you going to do with them? I mean, if you want to show off your stats, then you keep them. If not, if you're just kind of playing for yourself and you just put up a box score, you don't need to do all the crazy stuff.
There's a stat helper out there. I could probably email it to you, Dave, and ID if you want. One guy came up with to keep stats. Actually, while you're putting a game in, you put X's for like shots, and then for minutes, you put like a M. Like if it's 2-minute penalty, you put MM. And at the end of the game, you hit like send it to my score sheet or my scorecard, and boom, everything's over there. It's almost like a ball stat if you ever played that. It kind of shoots everything. One nice thing I like about it is you put your lineups in one time, you type them in, and then you just can pull them off of there.
Yeah.
You're not writing in like all the like 20 guys. That's the one thing.
Ball stand for hockey would be awesome. Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I could email it to you.
Okay. Yeah, send it over.
Yeah, well, check that out. Yeah, anything to make the game more fun, you know. I wish they had a helper like the Strat helper. That's how I play Strat, is right here on the computer, and I get my little rack with the guys, and that's all I need, because the helper plays the game. It rolls the dice, it flips the cards, it keeps all the stats, it keeps everybody's shot. Excuse me, it does all of that right in the helper. So when I'm done the game, I'm done. I don't got to do anything. It's all compiled in there, and boom, it's beautiful. I love that thing.
I've been meaning to ask you about that, Dave. Do you actually put the Strat info onto that utility, or do you just put like their name and position? Because I have that. I've never messed around with it, but
it's very generic. Like, I've been using it for my shootout hockey replay. So you just put in the teams and the players, and that's it. Because you need the cards to play the game. The only thing you do is you can, put in, the offense and the defense, 3 or a 2 or whatever. I think you want to do that. But it just basically, when you put your lines in and then you say you call up line 1, it loads line 1. If you call up power play 1, it loads power play 1. So there is a little bit of setup in that, because you put in your teams, you put in your players, then you put in your lines. And then once you got your lines done in the app, you just click on the arrow. It's okay. I want line 1, line 2, line 3, offense, defense, whatever it is, penalty kill. It all goes in there, and then there's a little dot. So the guys are across from each other, and you click on who's got the puck. So if it loses to left wing, you click over here, and now this guy has the puck. And if he gets a shot, you click on S for shot, and it registers a shot. If it's a penalty, you click on penalty, and the guy who has the dot, who has the puck, he gets the penalty. And and same way with the goal, so it just, everything is done so that you actually see, you never forget who has the puck, because you got this little dot that shows you, and that's what's kind of cool about it. And
do you use it for APBA? Do you think? Because I use it for shootout. That's the first time I ever even thought of using it for.
Well, again, it flips the time in 40 seconds rather than 30. Yeah. So your time would be a little up, but again, you could, if time is not a big issue for you as far as exact time and stuff, which I still think you can manipulate at the end. I suppose you wouldn't even need to flip any of the time. Just record the stats, record who got a shot, who got a save, and then just again just scroll through all the cards real quick to get to the end of the period and then start the new period over if you wanted to. Or you could flip a card here and there to kind of keep the time rolling if you wanted to. But yeah, I think you could you could use it for APBA. Once the line's loaded, once the players are in, you're just clicking on shot, shot, save, or who's got the puck now, or things like that. Yeah. So I haven't tried that. That might be interesting to try it. Yeah,
stats are. There's not a lot in hockey, which is nice. So I did that half a Canadians replay. It was just tick marks. I was just like writing in the player's name, and right next to their name, if they had a goal, I put a goal. I tick mark by the G, tick mark by the A. Just erase them. So
okay, we got a question from PJet here. What do you guys do about the roles on the 5-on-3 short-handed chat that don't match the rule book? I'm not sure what you mean. I know that
on the 2-man advantage on the special teams, PJet.
5-on-3 short-handed chat that don't match the rule. I know they just changed. Not just, but they come up with a new rating on that, and I just corrected my sheet over here. I don't know if that's the one I fixed or not, but I'm not sure which one.
I'm not sure what doesn't
not matching the rule book is what I want to know, because I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I forget which one it was.
Like type in what's not matching.
So I know he did some videos on that, and he had some questions on. There was one thing that he thought that was kind of out of whack, and I don't remember.
To be honest, I haven't had a 5-on-3 yet, so
I had one for a minute. I had one for a minute. We didn't score.
Oh, really? They're usually over. That plus 10 is powerful. Like you got to 26, you're up to 36.
I see. He forgets what it was. What kind? PJ, what kind of what it was? Like, what was the issue just in general? Like, what happened? Was there something in the rules that said it was different? Because I didn't pick up on anything like that. Oh, yeah, the misprint on the I saw that your video did that, and I just downloaded the correction from APBA, and I just I fixed that on the spreadsheets that me and ID have been going back and forth on. So yeah, so that's the one, Gilles, that on the shorthanded chart, two men, I think it's total shorthanded, that 10 to 15 changed from pass RSOG to pass ARX on the shorthanded. APBA put out a correction on that. And
it must though, because I don't have that pass ARX. I must have a newer, older book or something.
All right, so I got this thing here. It's the APBA manual addendum.
Oh yeah, is that off their website?
I think it was, yeah. And what it says is play for the shorthanded team. Play result 30 now counts as 2 time sequences when one man short, double X. That is in the book. It remains as 1 time sequence when 2 men short. So we're talking about number 30.
Okay.
So when shorthanded, 2 consecutive completed passes result in a time sequence. Okay, fair. Now here's the one that changed that the book was wrong, and he is correct on this. If this is new, then even my book, which is brand new, is wrong. Play results 10 to 15 under shorthanded. It doesn't specify 1 or 2, but play results 10 to 15 are now pass asterisk ARX, where a time sequence is marked off if re-rolls results in a number less than or equal to the player's assist rating. So it looks like if you beat the assist rating check, that you check off 30 seconds off the power play. So that was changed from, I believe, a shot on goal.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what?
So
you get too many shots on shorthanded. That makes sense.
So that's what PJ was saying, was that on the main chart here, and like I say, I just sent off the new one to ID tonight. In fact, a few other people that have been asking for the charts, I did.
Here, but Dave, if you want to show them, I got it up on my screen.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Let's see if I can make that full screen.
Let's see. Could I make it? I could try and make it bigger. Let me download it here, and then I'll bring it up in Excel, and then we can zoom in.
Oh yeah, that looks good. Oops. Oh, you almost had it.
Oops, I went to it jumped to the other screen. Sorry.
Yeah, so normally that 10 to 15 was a pass RSOG.
Yeah.
And they've changed that. So you can see that's the new one I sent him. So the shorthanded now 10 to 15 is pass ARX.
Yeah, that would have to apply to 2-man also. I'm thinking that has to apply there also.
I put it for both because it didn't say one or the other. So yeah, so the book would technically be, I don't want to say wrong, but if this is an added feature that they put in or a change, then they haven't updated the books yet. So.
Right. I wouldn't think they would. I mean, they would probably just put that sheet of paper out.
And everything else, I've looked at both columns. Everything else is exact.
Now they did make one other change too that I sent over.
That's good to know, Dave. Thanks for sharing that.
The other thing was on the goalie pull chart. If you want to pull that up,
I got that.
I sent that over too. That's new.
Yep. Let me get that for you.
The goalie pull chart.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom on the man disadvantage. Okay.
Let me download it here.
I'll show you what this said on the man this was very, very slight, by the way. So if you go down to the man disadvantage, 41 to 44.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those were changed. So the rare play is now 10-8-6-4.
Oh, okay.
And the neutral zone faceoff is now 9-7-5-3, which it was just a little bit different. If I call up the actual chart,
yeah,
special teams chart. Again, it wasn't anything crazy, but so instead of neutral zone faceoff 2-9, 2-7, 2-6, 2-4, it was now 2-9, 2-7, 2-5, 2-3. So it just counted down 9-7-5-3 instead of 9-7-6-4.
Yeah.
So
the 5 and the 3 are new. Yeah.
Very, very slight change to
really
41 to 44. So the neutral zone faceoff actually shrank by 1 on the bottom 2 is what it did. If that makes any sense.
That's good. Thanks for sharing that, Dave. That's awesome.
So yeah, what I'll do is I'll send you the sheets here that I get with that. So I just made those corrections because it came from the APBA Hockey Manual Addendum. So those are the two things that they changed in the chart. Everything else on this addendum looks like it's in the chart that they've changed. Like I say, the play result 30 is in there.
Mhm.
Let's see. Oh, with 2-man advantage, play result 16 to 20 go from interceptions to pass RSOG. So I don't know if that's still correct or not.
What was that again, Dave? What was that you just said?
With a 2-man advantage.
Uh-huh.
Oh, 2-man.
2-man advantage. Play results 16 to 20 are now they go from interceptions to pass RSOG. So this is correct. So it looks like it is correct.
Yeah, my book's correct. So we must have the same book, Dave.
So yeah, so they must have updated some of this stuff, but not quite all of it. Or whenever the that come out.
Oh, 2-man advantage over here.
Yeah, see that was interception, and now
yeah.
So they've changed that now.
This one is the same. They updated
so
this
just
section.
on the 2-man advantage. Yeah. Okay, so I think we do have the correct stuff now. So hopefully that fixed a few things or corrected whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, it would be nice if they did have a book that was all the updates on it, but whichever,
Yeah, that makes total sense because you look at that 10 to 16 on shorthanded, and like the results above that are face-offs. Like they should be.
The only thing I'm worried about is, man, those shorthanded teams, they're never going to score. They're never going to score.
Yeah, with those changes, that's less shots. Yeah, you got to get a 1 or a 2.
It's really going to be brutal.
Look at that old.
So I know that me and Dave had this discussion last night, but there's also, because you have multiple charts that can come into play.
Yeah.
You have power play. You
Right.
also have an offensive defensive zone face-off chart, and you also have your regular chart. So we were discussing and debating. Mostly Dave was telling me what I was doing wrong, but which chart supersedes? He did point out that the power play chart?
The power play is the number 1 chart.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think it's the defensive zone chart.
So if you have a power play, that is like so you use the power play chart whether it's an offensive or defensive zone face-off. It's overrides that, right?
Yeah, the special teams chart supersedes all other charts. Yeah, so you would use that special teams. You wouldn't use the offensive defensive zone face-off since the special teams chart supersedes all other charts.
Okay, so what chart do you use if you have pulled the goalie and it's a defensive zone face-off? Do you use a defensive zone face-off chart, or is that considered a man advantage chart?
Yeah, so that one I would.
You see what I'm saying?
The goalie, because I don't see what would supersede that. Like, I don't see what you would use.
Which are not technically on the power play, right?
Right.
So, but you do have the man advantage because you pulled the goalie. So
yeah,
I think that you would go to the goalie chart. No? Isn't there a goalie pull and also a goalie?
Well, you got the goalie pull chart.
But here's ID. I've just found it. It says the goalie pull chart does not supersede the offensive defensive zone face-off chart when using that.
All right, so you use the offensive defensive zone chart.
And you know what I just found, Dave? The correction that you mentioned about the pass RX. That's actually on that old book. Remember the one you have?
Oh wow!
So the old book is correct. The new one's wrong.
That's messed up.
So that was.
So they changed it a few years ago. They changed it, and now they're changing it back.
Yeah. So.
Hey, on the goalie pull chart. So it says extra skater than man disadvantage, no decrease in SR. So the goalie pull chart, that's only for the team with the goalie pulled, right? The other team is reading off of what, 4-check 1?
Right.
And is that automatic when the goalie's pulled?
Yeah, you force them into 4-check 1 when you do that.
Okay. Okay, so, yeah, because I thought it was left side extra skater, right side the other team. So I was wrong with that. Okay.
Yeah, so when
So-
you
Oh,
go,
I might have been wrong there too, because I was.
One.
Yeah, so when the goalie's out, you go to forecheck 1 for the team that's trying to defend.
Yeah, so if they get the puck and they're they get the puck and it's like an open net, they have to roll in that forecheck 1. And that the reason for that is it reflects like a lesser amount, like they're gonna have lesser amount of shots because they're actually at a disadvantage. So that's how they replicate the lesser amount of shots since they're disadvantaged.
Okay.
So we don't use the second column on that chart then.
Well, the second column is what if you were down a man?
Yeah.
Okay,
If you're already.
So you get a guy in the box, you pull the goalie, that gives you 5 skaters instead of 6.
Right. So it's like 5-on-5 with an empty net.
I see. Okay. I'm glad they did that. Okay, the goalie pull chart does not supersede the offensive defensive zone. So it looks like it's the penalty chart first, and then the offensive defensive zone, and then the goalie pull. Okay, and that other team automatically goes into forecheck 1. Okay, good.
Yeah.
This is good. Yeah, this is it's slow. There's a lot to this.
Oh, yeah,
There is, but the thing, none of it's extremely difficult. It's just a lot to it. And once you get it, I imagine that you got it, you know.
I'll tell you what, these guys at that tournament they have, I mean, they've been playing for years and years, and we're still looking through the book, you know, like, and like something comes up, oh, well, what is the rule? Oh. Like that breakaway came up. I was playing in a tournament a couple years ago, and we could not figure out what the advantage was of breakaway. We were pouring over the rules, and these two guys have been playing for like 10 years, but
how do you so breakaways come off the rare chart and the matchups and the the other thing. Yeah, let me ask you. And so what happens on a breakaway? So what happens on a breakaway? So the guy gets a breakaway, and what do you do?
What is you add 10? So you add 10 to a maximum of 43. So think of it like Strat has that breakaway column.
Okay.
Like how APBA does that is they give you they add 10 to your shot range to a max of 43.
Now, and you just so you get a breakaway, so that's an automatic shot on goal with a
you roll in your shot range with the add 10. So if you're like say if you're 30, you go up to 40.
All right, okay.
So you're on a 40 shot range. Now if
and you could never go above 43, you said, right?
Right. And on a breakaway too, if the one thing which there is different with the goalie is the goalie has to roll 1. So if you do get within range on it, the goalie has to roll 1 to make the save.
Oh, I see. So whatever his result is, it's got to be a 1 on the card. Okay.
Yeah.
And on a 3-on-2 and a 2-on-1, it looks like you read from the special teams chart.
There's that comes up on the long pass. So
yeah, how does that work actually? ID, have you done a long pass yet?
Yeah.
And you like it?
I've only done it once, and it was intercepted by the defensive team who took a shot on goal and almost scored. And I'm like, okay, that was sucked.
So it looks like you just roll the dice and see.
So you have to have a defensive zone face-off.
Yeah.
It has to be won by the defensive zone team, and it has to go to a defenseman.
Yeah.
Okay, or whenever a defenseman gets the puck after a save, it says too.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, or after a save.
Yes, you can also get it after a save, right? If it goes to the defenseman as well. Then you are going to adjust up or down based upon the defenseman's like passing rating or something.
I think it's A.
Is it A rating?
Yeah, they're A rating.
So that's the little A at the bottom?
Yeah, your goal is you want to go down on the chart. So you're trying to get like you're
trying to get to a 12.
You want to get down.
Yeah, you're trying to So when you're rolling 2 to 12, the lower on the chart or the higher the number, like a 12 is like the best option, right?
Okay, so on the example here, Taze has a 4A. So a 4A, I would go down 1 line when I rolled.
Yeah.
Now, what about this line adjustment? Oh, so the 4 checkers, I got to check the 3 4 checkers too, right?
Right. So you're going to look at their values and see what their rating is, and then they want to make it lower.
Oh, so there's 2 adjustments. There's your adjustment and their adjustment.
Right. And so you're going to get a total adjustment plus or minus 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and then you're going to roll 2d6, add that number, subtract that number, and it'll tell you.
So it could go up 1 and down 1, or something like that, or go up 2 and come back down 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It's
you look at the chart. You're trying to get that 12, like 10, 11, 12 result. You're trying to set up a breakaway essentially.
Yeah. Right.
so 2-on-1 breakaway. You'd roll off the penalty chart, right?
Yeah. So it's where it says like 2-on-1. I think it's at the top there.
And how would you determine who has the puck? Would you roll the dice and see, like the highest shooting forward or something like that? Or 3-on-2?
That is for that option, you got to go to the special teams charts. So how do you do that?
Yeah, but if I try a long pass and I get a 2-on-1.
Yeah, that is actually a great question.
Yeah, so how do you know who has the puck on this break?
Well, it's 2-on-1, so there's like 2 guys. So you're saying about 2-on-1, so you're
probably the highest shooting forward, I would imagine, right? The guy with the highest rate. I would go to the guy with the highest rating.
The skater with the highest shot frequency. So like so of the 2-on-1, so you're looking for the defenseman passes it and it goes to the forward.
Oh, right, yeah. 2-on-1, it's goes to the player with the highest shot frequency rating.
Yeah. So the highest shot frequency guy rolls on that 2-on-1 chart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that doesn't say it. Let's say in the instructions, it doesn't say it on the.
Oh yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, it's in the rules right here.
Yeah, it's on the long passes.
Oh, on the long passes. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I was looking at the chart. Okay. Oh, that clarifies. I see. That's something else I want to try. There's all these things I want to try. So what'd you have, Carl? What'd you have for dinner? We want to know what you had, because food is very important on this channel. Did you have pineapple pizza? Bonus points.
Actually, hey, you know what, Dave? I was actually out for pizza and beer when you went live, and I said, I got to get home. These guys are talking APBA Hockey. My daughter, she's like, or my wife, she's like, oh, let's get the pineapple bag. No. And my daughter said something like, it's an abomination to do that. Like, just like what you guys said. She never even heard us talking about it.
You either love it or hate it. You really do with that pineapple pizza.
Oh,
pineapple, pepperoni, jalapenos. It's a great combo.
I'm with you.
I like to put the meat on there. So yeah, I got to try the long passes. I got to try the matchup. That's the other thing I really do like about this game, is how they have all these optional rules and optional features that you don't have to use if you don't want. But if you want to, it again extends the game. But I mean, it feels like hockey. It really does. And
have you done a tip-in yet?
You do it twice a period, so like you're not. It's like you could do it every single time. There's like
right.
To it.
I have done the tip-ins. Yeah, you sent me the tip-in chart too.
Yeah,
those are kind of fun. Actually.
You got to get those high-rated players in there, and then
the first game I played, short-handed, Cam Neely took a shot and Ray Bork tipped it in.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Now, I don't know how that all come up. Hopefully I played it correctly, because, again, I was short-handed.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Neely got a shot, and then it said, the tip in, when I rolled, it goes to whatever. And so when I went, when I went to the tip in there, okay, here's my tip in right here. So I rolled, and so Neely took the shot, so he couldn't tip it in. So I went to the whatever second highest rated I player. Ray Bork had a high I. I rolled. He got the tip in +2, and the tip in was a goal. So Ray Bork must have went to the net on a break with Neely and scored. So
you must have rolled that 5. Yeah, short-handed.
So whatever.
Yeah,
so, and I like the wide shot. I really like the wide shot. How that it's still the puck's still in play.
Yeah.
What I really like about this game is that when you go to your play segment, there's all kinds of things that can happen. You can take your shot. It can be blocked. You can take another shot. The shot can go wide. Then you have a chance of getting it back. So all these things happen in this 40-second or 30-second sequence. And then you get times where it's just lose the puck, lose the puck, lose the puck, lose the puck.
Yeah.
And Strat does the same thing. It's like how many times I look at the defenseman, lose to opponent. Oh, come on. And then they lose to the opponent. And then they lose. So 3 or 4 times you go back. But again, that just kind of simulates kind of the non-action that can happen in a hockey game. But then you get the times that you have the action, and that's what makes it really kind of special. Like the wide shot.
Yeah, it's how the engine like controls the change of the back and forth. That's just they call it loose, like Strat called it loose puck, and APBA calls it interception.
Yeah.
It's all
And-
the same thing. So.
And I really like how on a wide shot you still check the clearing rating of the defenseman.
Correct.
So the defensemen still play a part in trying to get that puck out of the zone on a wide shot. It just, like I said, no other game really does that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not dumping on any other game. Okay, that's not what we're doing here. We're just talking about APBA, like the things that I really like, and this is stuff that I didn't think I'd ever play in a hockey game. And I'm finding that I'm really, really enjoying the depth of this, you know?
Yeah. And you could just choose which ones you want to use. You don't have to use all of them. You could just play. I wanted to show you this, the original game.
Tebow, you got a fan in here. You got a fan.
Oh, Bob, he's the best. I hang out with Bob at the APBA convention. He's a great guy. We play hockey, and he plays hockey too. He's a big Islanders fan. He goes to see him everywhere. He travels around with them and everything.
I still play. I still run a league up here, and I still play at my age. And we had 2 new guys show up today, and they're going to play next season. And they got to fill up the sign up sheet. They weren't alive when I started the league.
Oh, when you started the league.
We've been doing the league since 1999. So it's been what, 22 years or something like that. 22 years ago, I was 32. I started the league 22 years ago, and I got these guys, and they're like, "Yeah, I was born in like 2000." I'm like, "You weren't even born when we played our first game."
Yeah.
Talk about feeling old.
Yeah. They probably never seen a phone booth.
No, all that stuff. It's like, yeah, you know, it's like, there's one guy like, yeah, I play goalie. He's like, oh, I used to play goalie back in the 80s. He's like, yeah, I was born in 97. It's like I had the gray horsehair pads. I had a crappy mask. You know, it's like there was no colors back then. There was no whoopie-doos. Everything hurt. Every shot you took hurt. That's why I stopped playing. Everything hurt. And then they come out with these suits of armor. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, you were gonna say?
I wanted to show you guys the original game because this APBA Hockey just came out like in '93 in that area, and when it first came out, it was only one chart, and there was no tip-ins. It was just one chart you looked at. If you can look at it, it's just basically the forecheck 1, 2, and 3. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna put.
I remember that chart. I had that chart.
Let me get it pulled up here.
Just push it up a little higher. There you go.
Oh wow! That's all it was, and there was no bells and whistles whatsoever. There was no dump and chase. There was no tip in. No power play chart. It was a very simple game.
Yeah, I remember it came with the Penguins and the Red Wings and maybe a couple other teams. And my first game ever, first 3 plays were goal, goal, goal.
Oh,
and I put it away because I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy.
This is crazy. I put it away because I just like, this isn't realistic. I ended up selling it, but I remember that chart. Yeah.
That's a good. It was very simple. They changed it probably, I want to say, about 10 years ago. That's when they came out with this big book. Well, actually, they came out with that small book that Dave and I have to show you. There was a guy named Mark Zarb. He had done all these add-on rules that APBA used, and he was giving them out to friends, almost like us. It was like a community, and APBA just saw how good it was, and they incorporated these rules this guy Mark Zarb made, and that's what all this is. This offensive, defensive zone face-off, like the wide shot, tip-ins, rebounds, all.
It's deep and it can be confusing, but if you can get it, it works.
Oh yeah,
it really does. Now, Gilles, did you send me the hockey? Or was that APBA Chatter?
That was Steve, APBA Chatter.
Okay,
because the baseball.
So the baseball guy sends me the hockey, and the hockey guy sends me the baseball. That's why I'm messed up with it, because I kept saying that you sent it to me, because I know he was the baseball guy. He's the Cincinnati Reds guy. So he sent me the hockey. You sent me the base. Wow, that's why I kept getting mixed. Okay, I'm better now.
Steve and
I kept saying that you gave it to,
too.
because I know you had sent me something, and but you sent me the baseball. Okay.
Yeah, I sent you the baseball.
What I didn't like about that, what I do like about the hockey, is that there was no team names on the baseball cards. And I literally sat there for hours with the roster because I dropped a couple on the ground. I'm like, oh my gosh, what team are they on?
Well,
with the hockey,
too,
with the hockey,
78 cards,
Okay, good. I like to see the team names. It just helps me out like that. And It's PJ. It says if they redesign the cards to make the bottom row numbers larger, it might give it more of a chance. They are small. They're not a deal breaker for me. They are small. They don't come into play all that much, but they are small.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, they are.
You got to get the glasses on.
Yeah, no, that right there, yeah. And that J1, that's an injury thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You roll the injuries.
Yeah, they could do a better job of designing the cards, and and like PJ had said, the top row, we don't need a goalie with a 0 rating for a center. It just put the guy's name and his position and the number there. That would cut down. And yeah, he had some good suggestions on the card. He will. So his gripes are totally legit. I'm not gonna whatever. His gripes legit. For me, they just weren't deal breakers, and I had fun with it, and so I get past this because I'm just having a blast. I really am. And again, today I'm at the rink and we got the championship game that I wasn't in, but no, we had the championship game, and I'm sitting there going, come on guys, hurry up. We went into overtime and won the playoff game. Like, come on, I gotta go home and play some APBA today. And then I'm at the rink and I'm emailing ID. It's like, ID, I gotta talk APBA tonight. You want to talk APBA tonight with me? I want to talk APBA. I'm at the rink, typing these emails out on my phone.
I was telling Dave earlier, so I was running this game. It was late. It was 12:30, and I got off, and I said, Dave, he's going to get on and play. I know it. So I went to his channel and just kept refreshing every couple minutes to see if he was going live because he was so excited.
I was, but it
was. I get up and first thing, email, Dave, want to get on and talk happen tonight? I'm like, oh man, he is geeked up.
I was. This game's got me excited. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I was over here and while I was late signing on, I'm over here printing out all these rosters off the Rapper site and see which seasons I wanna order. It's like, holy cow, So I told the wife,
rosters are fun to look at, aren't they?
I got my birthday's coming up next week, so I told her, says, don't buy me anything, don't set anything up. I says I'm gonna get some seasons. I'm gonna buy my own birthday present this year, and I'm gonna try to enjoy this game. So I said, don't do anything. She's like, okay, that's fine. Okay.
My birthday is next Saturday.
We're pretty close. What are you, 17?
17. You're
19.
I think we're all like 17.
You want to hear something?
None of us.
You want to hear something real funny? You guys know Dave Little, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Little is April 19th, and same as me, and his wife is the same name as my wife.
Oh.
So that's crazy. So not on the same birthday, we married a person with the same name. I don't think it's the same person. At least I hope it's not. I don't think one person could handle the two of us. That's for sure. So what did Carl say here? Zarl covered some territory Strat never tried. Yeah. I gotta give APBA credit for trying some different things. Again, I like my strat. I really do. I think I got that game moving, except I still have problems with the power play. I just haven't really given it a fair shake to that super advanced power play and the tip-ins and stuff. It just kept tripping me up. So I said, something, I'm just going to play advanced power play, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm happy. For some reason, this APBA game, all these little things, the long pass, the matchups, the dump and chase, all these optional things, I found that I want to use them all because they all work. And that's the first time I emailed that guy up in Vermont today too. I sent him a message. It says, this is the first game that I think I'm going to try complete with every rule. There's always a game that I'm like, I'm not using that. I'm not using this. This game here. And let me ask you guys a question here. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it. Because this is hockey and I'm a hockey guy, I'm very forgiving. I'm very patient, and I want to try everything in the game. Do you think that plays into it? Whereas if this was football or baseball or basketball, that I wouldn't be so giddy to try all this stuff and be as patient and set up a chat and learn the game. Do you think your favorite sport really comes in? ID, I know you play a ton of baseball and stuff, but I imagine if you got a sport that you're lukewarm about, you'd probably give your favorite sport more attention, right?
Absolutely, without a doubt. You love it. You can look past all the little nuances that you don't like, and you see things with what do they call it? Rose tinted glasses, right? It's your favorite sport, man. if I was trying to play cricket or something and it was this complex, I would be like, screw this. I'm out of here.
I can see Jacket playing cricket though. I can see Ron playing a full cricket match for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. Shields, what do you think?
Trying to figure it all out, it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah. Dave, you just know so much, but you live hockey, so like the rules are kind of like secondary. That's why I think it's coming a little bit easier for you, because you know hockey and you live it. And it's if you're a casual hockey fan, you're probably like, oh, no way I'm using all this stuff.
Yeah,
you have to visualize all this stuff. Like just when we were doing with that matchup chart, you have to visualize all these things, like his passing, his skating, the defense. And
it's funny you mentioned that. And the reason why I played a lot of video games growing up, and hockey was by far, except for the Sega Genesis NHL 94, that was a classic. And in fact, that's why I bought 9091, is because the first Sega game was Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and I still have them all up on my shelf over here, as you can see. But what I'm getting at is that hockey video games are always my least favorite. I enjoyed playing basketball more than hockey. I enjoyed playing football more than hockey, probably because I know so much about hockey and I'm not an expert and I didn't play at a high level, but just because I'm in it and I've watched it for years and I still play it, and I broadcasted from the Boston Garden a couple of times. So, I mean, I've done some pretty high level things in hockey that when I played a hockey video game, I couldn't get it to play like hockey. It just felt like get the puck, go to the net and shoot. Yeah. There was no moving the puck around. There was no setup. And I know they've gotten better now with board play and the whole bit, but now I got the controller and I'm like, I'm looking at the TV and I'm looking at my hands and I couldn't do it anymore. So if I wanted to get all that, I mean, aside from like one button, shoot and pass, that's all I could do. That's not hockey. This Strat, APBA, Shootout, Hockey Blast even, that is a better hockey experience than hockey video games to me, because like I say, I'm deep into hockey. Yeah. And when I'm playing a video game, I'm getting it and I'm going right to the net. And I'm not stopping to look. I'm not stopping to pass. I'm just going right to the net. And then everybody crashes the net. It's like watching a U7 soccer game. Everybody just chases the ball. This here, I got my dumpings, I got my line changes, I got the passes, I got the goalie checks, I got the rebounds. It just, you could feel like the shot blocks in APBA. Everybody has their position, the defense, in Strat, you try to penetrate, or this guy's too strong. When I play Strat PC hockey, when I get any player can get it and penetrate, I look for the weakest guy on the other team, and I don't care who it is. And then I'm going to give it to the opposite because I get a better chance of getting inside. So even if it's a defenseman, I'm going to have him go up against a weak defenseman, And so that is more hockey to me than any of the video games. So it's funny how I talk about how I'm into hockey. I hated hockey video games because it never played like hockey. When I go out there on Saturday mornings and I play and I'm looking around, I'm looking to set up plays. I don't get it and just go to the net. That's not hockey. So these games here all feel like I'm playing hockey.
Yeah. The other thing that I really think makes a big difference for me, and I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. Too many hockey games out there have randomness when it comes to who's going to take the shot, or has the player pick the person that's going to take the shot. I think what's really good about APBA hockey is 99% of the time it's based upon the highest shooting frequency.
Yes.
Right? So the players that take the most shots are going to take the most shots, and the second highest shots would take the second amount, and the third and the fourth. So you don't have to worry about, well, I've got a third liner that had 2 goals in a season that keeps taking like 25 shots in one period because it just keeps rolling on his card. I think one of the ingenious things about this game is that it is going to be based upon that stat, who took the most shots. It's not going to be
I like that. That's a very, very good point. That's what shootout hockey does too, is that, there's no different shot. I mean, your Cam Neely takes a shot. It's the same as Jim Weimer. It's the same as whatever. The quality of the shooter doesn't matter, but that Cam Neely will get a heck of a lot more chances to score, and that's what this game does too. Like I say, the highest frequency shooting or whatever it is, it's like that comes into play, and that's a great point. Is that you're right? It's just now it's not always doesn't always go to him, but most of the time it will. And so it's not just going to be
you're going to roll a die. You might get the first, you might get the second, you might get the third. But the first player has got 3 chances. The second highest has got 2 chances.
Yeah.
The third highest has got 1 chance.
Yeah. Occasionally it will say rebound to left wing. Occasionally, but a lot of times, like I say, even when you're making your passes, you got to roll that die to see if it's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. And I do like that. I do like how that comes into play. I do like how they have a clearing rating for defensemen, and block shot rating for defensemen, as well as their defensive rating. So defensemen in this game play a huge part in blocking shots and clearing pucks. And Ron brought that up. He says, Strat, as good as it is, it feels like it's all offense with Strat. The defense, maybe you try to, knock somebody off the puck, but aside from that, they don't really come into play. This game, defense is a big part of the game, I feel.
That's a great point. I really didn't think about it much. Yeah.
How many games out there have 3 defensive ratings for defense players? Defense is kind of, it's always about the goal scorers. But they have all these ratings, and then obviously in the corner battles they got, and then in the crease battles. I mean, everybody has those ratings. But I mean, look at the card here. I mean, let's just take a look at the card here on the top here. This is my example. So of Taze, because that's what I have here. So he's got his main rating, then he's got forecheck, his minutes played, his penalty rating, his shot frequency, his face-off, his clearing rating, his shot range, his assists. He's got intimidation. Then at the bottom, he's got the corner battles, the I for in the slot. He's got his block rating, his S. What's the S at the bottom again? That's his skating. So that's the matchup stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the A is more matchup in long passes.
Yeah.
So look at all the ratings. I mean, that's ridiculous. The amount of ratings that this one guy has, and everybody has those, and you just like, wow, what went into like creating this?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about, imagine trying to rate, 300 players like this. I mean, I find it pretty impressive. I do. Yeah. I find that all those ratings are very impressive to me. And that's why I want to use them all in the game, because they're there. And when I first got it, I'm like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do this. Then I watch ID play and I'm like, that doesn't look like it's too difficult. And that looks like it's kind of fun. And then, then I watch someone else play and it's like, okay, that looks kind of cool. I think I'm going to incorporate that, and then the more I do, it's like, wow, I think I'm just going to try to go full eventually, try everything here and get the full experience. And, like ID talked about at the beginning, you got to be in the mindset. You got to be in the mindset for an hour to 90-minute game. You're not going to sit and bang this out in 20 minutes, but in that 60 to 90 minutes, you're going to feel like you were at a hockey game.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
And other games do that too. So again, we're not playing favorites. We're just talking APBA tonight. And my first 2 games, I walked away and I'm in bed thinking about like, wow, that was what happened in that game. You know what I mean?
What happened in your second game? I know your first game was the Bruins. What happened in the second one?
I did. Do I have it here?
You were doing Calgary Blackhawks.
Yeah, it's upstairs. I did Chicago at Calgary, and I think Chicago went up, and then Calgary went up, and then Chicago went up again. I had a couple of fights, and I went into forecheck. I think it was 4-2 Chicago in the third. Not a lot of penalties in this game compared to the first game, which was good. And I went into forecheck 3 for Calgary, and then forecheck 1 for Chicago, and Chicago ended up scoring 2 or 3 times. So the forecheck 3 I'm finding.
Yeah, that's risk reward. Yeah,
I've tried. That's the first time I tried it, and I didn't get a lot of reward.
Is your head going to explode the first game you go into a shootout?
Well, see, that's why I tend to play the seasons without the shootout. Seriously, but I did read the shootout how that worked, and that was it's fairly simple. The goalie has to roll a 1 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or let's say overtime game in the playoffs. Are you is your head gonna explode with excitement over? Oh my God, here we go! Any shot is gonna win this.
Oh, well, of course. Yeah. Yeah. I did Strat. I did the Bruins and Rangers in the 72 Cup Finals. And the first game I played, game one I think it was in Boston, went to overtime. And Busick scored for Boston in overtime. And it was just like, it was so cool. It was like, I'm in overtime. Busick gets the shot. Goalie rating on
I said this
Jacobin.
before. My number one sport's baseball. My second sport's hockey. But my favorite sport of all is playoff hockey.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Playoff hockey beats everything.
Yep. With the intensity, you can even sense the difference how fast they're skating and everything, which I thought was wild about hockey. You can even see the difference.
So we have another Canadians fan in the house here.
Who's that? Patch.
Mr. Patch is a Canadians fan. I thought I blocked him from the channel. I don't have any Canadian fans on here. He's been doing a lot of interesting stuff with shootout hockey on his channel over on YouTube. So it's been fun watching that. He's having some fun with that. But yeah, so I suppose we could wrap up. I didn't think we'd go this long, but boy, we had a good conversation. Jules, thanks for coming in and clearing up a bunch of things for me.
Thanks for having me on. I'm gonna have a couple more videos now too. So
yeah, no, I like how you're doing, like, you're attacking certain things. Like, I'd like to see the long pass video and the penalty thing. I got to watch that again. I started watching that a couple of times, but I want to go with that. And the whole 11, 12, 16, is that what it is? No, 12, 14,
16, and play until 35.
Okay, yeah, I got to get used to checking. So you check for additional minors on that. Okay. Yeah. And I got to try the long pass. I haven't taken out the goalie yet. So there's a whole bunch of things I haven't got to yet, but yeah, it's the only drawback is because it takes so long to play, the longer projects really kind of go out the window.
Yeah,
they really do.
Do like a seven games like you were doing with that Toronto LA. That works great with APBA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And here's APBA Chatter right here. He's the one that got me started on this. And but yeah, it's I tried it. It was okay. I didn't understand it, but it took me a little bit of time to get up to speed now.
It just blows my mind how excited you are with this. Yet when you've tried it the first time, it just didn't tickle your fancy. And it's like a complete reversal for you. And I hope you don't, I don't know why all of a sudden it was,
I don't know. I might want to go back and listen to some of those podcasts from when I tried it to see what I was saying about it.
I just disappointment in your voice was like, oh, I gave it a try and it wasn't for me.
Well, again, when I saw you and I don't know if it was Dave playing it, and you had the big book and you had the little face off, all these little cheat sheets there. Once I saw that, I said, wait a sec. I have the older version here. It's like, if I get the newer version, I'll have the big book instead of that little book. I'll have all the cheat sheets here. That may make this thing play a little bit better. So I was like, okay, I'll try that. And then the more I watched, I was like, wait a sec. This ODAI, it didn't seem so menacing anymore. But the ODAI pushed me away because I'm like, I don't want to be doing math. I don't know what this means. I can't follow this. This makes no sense. And 8 becomes a 7. And that's how I felt, But then when I really looked at it in action, it's like, wait a sec, it's really not quite as bad, It really isn't. So I think just having a fresh look at it, wanting to play another game, it's hockey. So again, you forgive a game that you really love, So and again, if this was baseball, like ID said, or cricket, I wouldn't be doing a 2-hour podcast on anybody over a cricket game, But this year I wanted to learn this, and it goes deeper than Strat, which I really like. Yeah. So if I want, I can get this big hockey experience with APBA, which who would have thought? Because APBA is the big baseball. You think APBA, you think baseball. Yeah. But this hockey, and the biggest thing about this whole thing and why I wanted this to work is because of all the seasons they offer. That are in stock, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy how much they offer. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I look back at any season that I would want to play is there, and there's stuff that I wouldn't play that's there. And just the idea that, I want to play 74, 75, add to cart. It's not out of stock. I don't got to spend $150 on eBay.
Yeah.
That was a big part of this too, was what seasons are available. And we've talked about that on the show. When you find the games like, oh, they have 5 seasons. I really don't want to fall in love with this game if they have 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Nothing against the developer, and that these things aren't easy, but I don't want to love a game with 5 seasons.
Right.
You know, I want a game that I can. Oh, if I get in the mood for this season, I want to get this season. You know what I mean? And do you guys feel that way too about games and seasons?
They print on demand at APBA, so that's what's nice about it. Is like when they run low, they just print some more, which everybody wishes Strat would do that too. But I wish actually Strat would. One thing I hate about Strat is that 6 teams. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Because I have 90-91 like you have for Strat, and they send me that PDF like you have with all the other teams. I'm like, where's the rest of my cards here? Like,
yeah, no, it is nice to get the whole set. You don't get away with it. They do the envelopes too. That's kind of nice, and the whole bit. So it doesn't. And then they're all available. All those seasons are available, and so I was like, okay, if I can make this game work, all the seasons are available, and I don't get a price gouge on eBay. You know, I can just pay normal price. Don't have to print anything, and they all come in. And I do like the size of the cards. They fit on that mat really nice, and they handle very nice too.
Well, to be since you brought it up, to be completely honest, the only reason I actually have the APBA hockey game is I went to order a hockey game, and I wanted a certain season, and another company, which will be named nameless, didn't have that season. So then I was like, well, okay, well, let's look at APBA then. They had the season. I'm like, well, before I order the season, let me get the thing. So that's how I actually got into APBA, was because other companies out there.
Yeah. Ron made a good point though. Ron said that if I just got the game and I got last year's teams, there were 4 teams last year that came in the game. I really don't know anybody, and I couldn't relate to it, and I wouldn't be emotionally attached. So he said, when I picked up 90-91 and I played Gretzky and the Kings against Bork, Neely, and the Bruins, that made it connected. I'm connected. Whereas if I played, Tampa Bay and Winnipeg, whoever it was, I don't know anybody really. So when I knew everybody on the board, and I could picture their face and their jersey, I was connected. He said that I was.
How you could I'm the same way with 88-89 season. I have that set with APBA. I go through it. I'm like, I could picture every one of these guys. I can't picture maybe 1 or 2 per team now. So.
And I'm wondering now if I just went with the base set and I played, what Dallas and the Islanders, because there were 14. There was 14. So Dallas, Vegas, Island, whatever it was. If I played, a couple of those teams and I only knew 1 or 2 guys, would I be sitting here tonight talking with you guys about this, all excited about
Probably not.
No.
That's weird, isn't it?
Game.
It's that we talked in the beginning about the mindset and the desire to want to do this, to investigate that unknown out there, right? And if you investigate that unknown and it's still unknown because you don't know any of the players, you're like, I'm done with it.
But I can picture, like I say, Neely fighting Sandstrom. I can picture Bork in the corner battling,
so
Gretzky
you
for the
investigated that little unknown out there, and it's like, oh, look I got this beautiful thing now.
Yep. So, so that's that. So we'll wrap it up here. As APBA Chatter says, it's different than baseball, closer to APBA soccer. Yep. I played I like the basic baseball. The basic baseball was fine. Again, I'm not a huge baseball guy. I got a few Strat baseball seasons, but nothing crazy. I do like the payoff pitch. I think payoff pitch is like Strat, but a little easier, a little bit more to it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but I do like the payoff pitch. I have some fun.
Off subject here, but you guys like Pine Tar? I just bought Pine Tar this weekend.
I don't have it.
You don't have that?
Huh. So ID's got it.
Kurt Bergman.
I just got just like literally within the last week, I finally got my cards cut out. So I haven't actually played a game yet.
Oh, there you go.
Is that just on sheets? ID. You play that just on the sheets that come with it?
I couldn't hear you, sorry.
Can you play that just on the sheets, like on the sheets with that, cutting them up?
You can, yeah.
Cutting the cards.
Yes. You don't need to cut the cards. It was designed to play with just putting the sheets out and then just putting little tokens on the players that you're using or whatever. So you don't need to cut them out.
Okay.
But I didn't want to do it that way, so I cut mine out.
I might cut them. Thanks for that. Berglund totally sold me on that.
It's a great little game. It's just I wish they would come pre-cut, which would save me a lot of cutting.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight and joined us in the chat room and chatted away. We had a nice, fun chat tonight as we talked a little APBA hockey tonight. As I was joined by ID, who's been playing a lot, and I was up late and was tired for work because his hockey game would not end last night. Although I think we found out after talking to Gilles that maybe you were reading off the wrong chart, right? With the goalie.
I think I was.
Yeah. So you were reading off the right side of the goalie pull chart instead of 4-check-1.
I was yelling at my TV when you did that.
I blame that on you because you're the one that sent me the chart.
Well, because all the other charts are left, right. It just kind of falls in line that's how
he
it should
sent
be.
me the chart, and I just assumed, well, this is the right chart.
But I didn't know when the goalies pulled that you got to go to 4-check-1 for the other team. Yeah. So now we know that.
Now we know. So that might have changed.
RX, you cleared us up on the Pass RX.
The new thing there, the Pass ARX. We have the new chart for that now on the shorthanded. We learned a lot about the matchup play and how stuff is decided and ties go to defense and which chart goes where. So
which chart to use in certain situations.
Yep. So this was great. Again, this is brand new to me. I've only had it about a week. I played a couple of games. I can't believe how much I like it. And again, compared to my first experience with the game, which was fair at best, I didn't think I would never try it again, but I didn't think I would love it like I do. I just didn't think that, but it does. But so I want to thank everybody that came into the stream here.
See you, Steve.
And D-Scott was watching with us last night, right? He was in the room.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah,
it was a basketball game. It really was. That was a basketball game. But now we know. Maybe we read off a different shot. Maybe it would be different this time.
When are you going live with it, Dave?
That's the thing about
I want to see you in action.
That's the tough thing about this game is it's such a long game, and I couldn't do it here. I don't think. Oh, maybe I could because I could have all my charts set up here. Maybe I could try to set up and play a little bit. I was gonna play one more full game, get some things under my belt, and then just set up a camera and record 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes of gameplay to get going, and then maybe at some point, because again, it's tough when you're gonna be streaming 60 or 90 minutes because then you're talking to people. Now that turns into 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's tough to hold attention for a game for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Right. Some people can do it really well. I think ID you were doing a period at a time. That's actually not a bad idea.
I tried to either do period or period and a half. So yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard when you do a 2 hour game there. But I
will
get some videos up.
I had half the second and all the third, and so I figured, well, let's just get it all done, get it done.
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably film some stuff first, get 10-15 minutes of gameplay up, and show how I'm playing it, how it flows in the whole bit. So hopefully other people will maybe they'll point out what I'm doing wrong. Sometimes that happens too. It's like, oh, hey, you did this, you did that. So that's how you learn too. Is just you put up a video and like, hey, it should have been this, not that. Oh, okay, no, I'll fix that. But I'll be getting some APBA Hockey videos up. I gotta figure out what seasons I'm gonna get. I'm gonna go after we sign off. I'm gonna go back and poke around and print some more rosters and look and see which ones I want to get. So anyway, but ID, thank you. Gilles, thank you for coming in. And everybody again, thank you. We had a great time. You guys don't go anywhere. I'm going to close the room, but you guys don't go anywhere. I'm just going to sign off and we'll talk to everybody. And we had a new show this week for Digital Dice. Check that out. We talked a little about APBA Hockey on that as well. And so we'll talk to everybody later. Thanks for coming in tonight to our Saturday night chat. Bye-bye.